Meanwhile, Leo Evans had already entered the woods and rendezvoused with Kane and the others. How'd it go, old man Kane? No hiccups, right? Kane stared at Leo with a face full of resentment, looking like he wanted to strangle him. Do you have any idea how exhausting it is to impersonate you? Leo, nice work. Ethan Sia walked up, draping an arm around Leo's shoulder, teasing him. Caused such a big scene, you must have killed quite a few people, huh? Leo glanced at him. Don't talk nonsense. I've been with you guys the whole time. How could I have done anything big? The two exchanged a look and smiled, their expressions filled with sly mischief. Before long, Landon White sent his people over to clear out the Vulture's subordinates and extract the 27 teams. When all the squads had safely withdrawn, Sergeant Mad Dog, Wu, and Landon finally showed their faces. Fortunately, because the Vulture's main force had been concentrated at the camp, there weren't heavy casualties on this side. In fact, some teams had even managed to counterkill quite a few Vulture operatives. Bill Zane, Felix Jiang, Rex Titan, and their crews were all covered in bloodstains, clearly having been through a brutal fight. Landon White scanned the crowd, his gaze eventually locking onto Leo. Seeing this, Mad Dog Wu quickly coughed and spoke up. Everyone, due to unexpected circumstances during this competition, the team event is officially void. Next, we will arrange for everyone to be transported to the frontier for a temporary rest. We will organize a new team competition for you later. Time is tight. The vehicles are already waiting outside. You will depart for the frontier immediately. Hearing this, the crowd's expressions varied. Clearly, no one had anticipated this outcome. Only a few, like Felix Jiang and Bill Zane, remained impassive. For them, the frontier was their ultimate destination anyway. This was just happening a bit sooner than expected. Leo raised an eyebrow. He hadn't expected to go to the frontier this way. Of course, this was good news. After all, his goal had been achieved. If Commander Hayes finds out, he should be pretty happy, right? Leo thought for a moment and decided he should make a call to share the good news. So, after the teams were dismissed, Leo pulled out his phone and dialed General George Evans. At that same moment, far away in North Point, General George Evans happened to be drinking tea in Commander Hayes' office. Without Leo around, North Point was terrifyingly safe. There was basically nothing for them to worry about. Seeing the incoming call from Leo, George's eyes filled with confusion. Little Leo? Why is he calling me now? Shouldn't he be in the middle of the team competition? Hearing it was Leo, Commander Hayes quickly said, Answer it. Let's hear what he has to say. George answered the phone and put on speaker. Leo's voice instantly rang out. Grandpa, I got the cuff. Oh no, I succeeded. Tell Commander Hayes for me. We're heading to the frontier soon, so I won't be home for dinner. Leo sounded excited, like a high school senior who just got into college telling his grandpa he was going out to eat with friends. Hearing this, a smile instantly overflowed on Commander Hayes' face. Now, I'm listening. I knew you could do it, kid. I didn't write all those statements of self-criticism for you in vain. Hayes said cheerfully, How was it? Did you take first place? Tell me, make me happy. However, Leo's next words froze the smile on his face. What first place? We had a little accident here. Don't know who blew up the camp, so they're sending us to the frontier to hang tight. We'll compete again later. Leo patted his chest. But don't worry, Commander Hayes. No matter when we compete, I'll definitely get you that first place. He continued to babble on. But George Evans and Commander Hayes heard nothing else. Their brains were buzzing, echoing with only one sentence. Don't know who blew up the camp. Camp blew up. Blew up. George and Hayes looked at each other, both swallowing hard with difficulty. After a long pause, George's lips trembled. Little Leo, this has nothing to do with you, right? Grandpa, look at what you're saying. Don't you know my character? Leo said with a righteous face. I'm the most well-behaved kid. How could I do something so dangerous? Hearing this, George and Hayes felt their hearts sink. It was over. It definitely had something to do with this kid. I won't talk anymore, Grandpa. I gotta go find Ava. I'll call you guys again when I get to the frontier. Don't worry about me. I'll take care of myself. After speaking, Leo hung up the phone. Almost a second later, Commander Hayes' phone rang. He looked at the caller ID and sucked in a cold breath. Holy shit. Why is General White calling me? George quickly said, Answer it. Speakerphone. Hayes braced himself and pressed the answer button. The next second, General White's voice came through. Hayes, this is White. I'll be direct. I just received a report from Inspector Landon White. He suspects that Leo Evans, the captain from your North Point military district, is the mastermind behind the camp explosion incident. As the commander of North Point, according to regulations, I need to inform you of this and hear your opinion. Hearing General White's words, Sweat became visibly apparent on Hayes' forehead. He was regretting everything to death inside. If he had known something this big would happen, he wouldn't have sent Leo out even if it killed him. His goal was pure. He really just wanted to win first place in the competition. How many days had he been gone? And the camp already freaking exploded? General White, there might be a misunderstanding here. Hayes braced himself and said, I just spoke with Leo on the phone. He said this had nothing to do with him. Oh, so you're saying Landon's report is incorrect? I didn't mean that. Hayes winked frantically at George Evans. Your grandson caused this mess. I can't be the only one taking the heat. George, however, rolled his eyes and looked up at the ceiling, acting as if it had nothing to do with him. If they weren't on the phone right now, Hayes would have fought him. After a long silence, General White spoke up. Fine, put that aside for now. There's one more thing I need to tell you. Regarding the sentencing for Colonel Grant and Julia. The results are in. Hayes paused and asked softly, May I ask, what is the result? Life imprisonment, General White said slowly. Considering their circumstances at the time and the situation with their grandson, this is the best outcome. Thanks, General White. I should be thanking you guys. You're all getting on in years, yet you still handle things without knowing the weight of your actions. General White huffed coldly, then hung up the phone. Hayes looked at George helplessly. That old man is still the same. Tough mouth, soft heart. Yeah, he says he doesn't care, but if something really happened to us, he'd probably be the most anxious one. George shook his head with a bitter smile. Little Leo going to the frontier. That's going to give him quite the headache. Hayes nodded and sighed, unsure if he was worried about himself or the frontier. Ha ha ha. Survive a catastrophe. And there's bound to be good fortune later. Bound to be good fortune. When Captain Invincible Zhao brought Ava and the others back to Leo, Shane Quill laughed towards the sky. I told you, I haven't done anything heinous in my life. How could I die young? Now that the great calamity is past, the sky is high enough for birds to fly. I don't have to be a shrinking violet following someone else's, but anymore. Heaven knows how many twists and turns Shane Quill had gone through following Leo recently. The bitterness of it all was indescribable. Now that the dust had settled, Shane finally didn't have to toil like a beast of burden or be a scapegoat for Leo. The excitement in his heart was beyond words, turning into tears glistening in the corners of Shane's eyes. Swish! The next second, 3 slips of paper appeared in unison before his face. Leo, Ava, and Ethan Sia were holding IOUs, waving them in front of Shane. Pay up, the 3 said in unison. At this moment, Shane froze. The tears in the corners of his eyes seemed to sense the mood and slid down his cheeks. No, you guys. Shane stared wide-eyed, his finger trembling as he pointed at the 3 of them, stuttering, unable to speak. Prophet, what was that jibber-jabber you were just saying? Leo stepped forward, hooking his arm around Shane's neck, laughing. What sky-high birds flying? Isn't our little group harmonious? Why do you want to fly so low? Exactly, Shane. Ethan Sia leaned in from the other side. From the first moment I saw you, I knew we were the same kind of people. Inseparable. Ava blinked and said concisely, pay up. Among the 3, Ava was Shane's biggest creditor. Perhaps the biggest creditor of his life. If it were anyone else, Shane probably would have just reneged on the debt. But this lady, who dared to renege on her debt? Even Sterling wouldn't dare, right? This whole family was basically a crime syndicate. Experts in swindling, kidnapping, and conning. What kind of family raises such a pile of talents? And they all just happened to gather together. At this moment, Captain Zhao walked up and said to Leo, Hey, your wife and your friends are all unharmed. I've done my part. We're even now. Leo blinked, staring at Captain Zhao. Even for what? Zhao was confused. Didn't you say that if I protected them, it would repay the favor of you saving my life? That's right, Leo nodded. But didn't I hear that their target was you? And that you were the one who almost got killed? At least our Ava dealt some damage. You seem to have been coasting the whole time. Captain Zhao, repaying a favor like this. It's a bit inappropriate, isn't it? Leo spread his hands and continued. I don't care, but if word of this gets out, TSK, if it were me, I wouldn't have the face to show myself in public. What do you think, Ethan? Ethan covered his face. Stop talking, Leo. I'm embarrassed just listening to this. Aren't you making it awkward for Captain Zhao? The 2 sang in harmony, causing Captain Zhao's face to turn instantly red. Whether from embarrassment or anger, it was hard to tell. Shut up. Zhao gritted his teeth. Pretend I never said it. I still owe you the favor. Don't be like that, Captain Zhao, Leo said coyly. After all, it's not like you did absolutely nothing. Running out of the camp and running back is pretty tiring. The implication was, aside from running back and forth, what exactly did you do? Stop talking. Zhao ground his teeth, clenching his fists. I didn't do anything. I admit it, okay? Don't say that. It makes it look like I'm forcing you. There's no such thing. It's all voluntary. So, we'll do as you say, Captain Zhao. Leo raised an eyebrow, tightly grasping Zhao's hand. I knew Captain Zhao wasn't an ungrateful person. It wasn't in vain that I risked my life to carry you all the way back from the mountains. Risked your damn life. Out of everyone there back then, only my life was in danger. You were just acting and having a blast. Captain Zhao felt bitter inside, but he couldn't say it. Suddenly looking back, he happened to lock eyes with Shane Quill. Even though they hadn't interacted much, in this moment, they shared a feeling of finding a kindred spirit. Everyone, departing in 3 minutes. Get yourselves ready. We won't wait for anyone. After Mad Dog Wu shouted 3 times with a megaphone, he walked straight toward Leo. He glanced at Captain Zhao, then looked at Leo with complex eyes. Sorry, Leo. You guys might have to take a separate vehicle later. Mad Dog Wu frowned as he spoke. Landon White reported the situation here to the Frontier, categorizing you few as the masterminds of this incident. He even linked you to the Vulture. From now until we reach the Frontier, personnel will be arranged to guard you. As soon as these words came out, the faces of the group turned sour. Ethan said sarcastically. So they're treating us like we're Vulture operatives now? Adrian spoke calmly. Is there evidence? Mad Dog looked apologetic. Although there's no evidence. Landon White is an inspector. I have no authority to interfere with his actions. Old Wu, Captain Zhao also became serious, his voice low. Landon White has no brains, but do you have no brains either? Since when do inspectors get to ride over the heads of our special operatives? Mad Dog glared at him immediately. Nonsense. Use your pig brain to think. If there wasn't someone behind this, would Landon White dare to report like that? Zhao's pupils constricted sharply. You mean, could it be? That's right. Mad Dog took a deep breath. This is General White's intention. What? Zhao looked incredulous. General White can't be that senile. You're asking me? Who am I supposed to ask? Mad Dog turned his head, looking at Leo apologetically. Sorry, you guys will have to suffer a bit of injustice. Leo blinked and didn't speak. He just looked around as if searching for something. Then, he asked a question that instantly raised everyone's heart rate. Where's Landon White at? I'm gonna go have a chat with him. Wait, Leo, don't be impulsive. Mad Dog quickly grabbed Leo. There must be a misunderstanding here. Don't rush. If you blow this up, it'll be hard to clean up. They were terrified Leo would get physical with Landon White. That would be real trouble. Calm down, Leo. You really can't get physical with Landon White. Mad Dog will hugged Leo tightly, anxious. If you actually hit him, there's no way to explain it clearly. At the same time, he turned his head to look at Ava and the others. Don't just watch. Persuade him. Ava and the others exchanged glances. Adrian fiddled with the laptop in his hands, speaking calmly. Landon White should be in the SUV to the northeast. Surveillance shows he got in 2 minutes ago. Ethan toyed with a throwing knife in his hand, muttering, That's not far. If I take 2 steps, he should be within range. Harvey, he looked around. I'll go secure a vehicle for us. After the hit, we can make a run for it immediately. Ava pulled Shane along. We'll go wait in the car first, so we don't slow you down. In just a few sentences, an operational plan was locked in. Mad Dog Wu and Captain Zhao fell into silence, looking at this group, momentarily speechless. What kind of criminal syndicate is this? You guys don't look like this is your first offense. Mad Dog even wavered a little. Maybe these people did need to be guarded. They really didn't look like good people. What are you guys doing? Leo suddenly spoke up, looking at them with a serious face. How many times have I emphasized this? We are the good guys. Don't go doing things that easily cause misunderstandings at the drop of a hat. With you guys always being so rash, it's very hard for me to lead this team. Leo said earnestly, I'm just going to have a chat with Inspector White. And here you are, ready to jump him. My image as an honor roll student and good citizen is being dragged down by you lot. Upon hearing this, Ethan and the others fell silent. They looked at Leo silently. After a while, Ethan was the first to look at Ava and ask, What exactly do you see in this guy? His shamelessness. Ava bit her lip. His skin wasn't this thick back then. Adrian closed his laptop, pulled down the brim of his hat, and turned his head, too lazy to acknowledge Leo. Only then did Shane scream, Wait, I didn't do anything. Why am I being treated as a suspect too? No one paid him any attention. Tweet. Just then a whistle blew. Time was up. It was time to depart for the Frontier. Not far away, Landon White personally led a group toward Leo. Leo, you should know by now. Landon looked at Leo with indifferent eyes. Your group will be under strict surveillance. Once we reach the frontier, the decision on how to handle you will be handed down. Leo looked at Landon and asked, "Is this your idea, or orders from above?" Landon frowned at the question. "Of course it's my idea. You have the authority to handle this." "Of course. Swear it. If you're lying, you'll be 10 centimeters shorter down there." The words froze on Landon's lips. Feeling everyone's gaze, Landon's mouth twitched, and he braced himself. "Now, stop messing around." "Tis." Leo curled his lip. "I thought you were some big shot. Turns out you're just pretending." Hearing this, Landon instantly grew angry. "Leo, do you really think you're above the law? Once we're at the frontier, there are plenty of ways to sanction you. Let's see if you can keep being arrogant then." With that, he looked toward Mad Dog Wu. "Sergeant Wu, I'll trouble you to watch these people. As for the other personnel from North Point and Violet Creek, I'll arrange for others to watch them." After saying this, Landon glared at Leo one last time and turned to leave. Leo watched Landon's retreating figure and whispered softly, "Interesting. This Landon White wasn't as simple as he looked. At the very least, he wasn't simple-minded. Until just now, Leo had been deliberately provoking him, and Landon had acted provoked, showing no flaws. Even with his psychological acuity, Leo had to observe multiple times before coming to a conclusion. Landon White had never been angry, or at least not as angry as he appeared on the surface. In Leo's eyes, deep within Landon, there was a calmness that no one expected. "Sigh, they're all smart people." Leo sighed. Compared to these people, he missed the days of fighting the Fong Alliance in Ethelberg. Although the Fongs had schemes, they didn't have many. After leaving Ethelberg, the people he met were more scheming than the last. If Leo were any simpler, he would have been played to death by them, even with the system. It's this damn society that destroyed my innocence and turned me into the thing I hate most." Leo suddenly uttered this lament, earning eye rolls from Ethan and the others. "Bro, you're the least qualified person to say that, okay? If you count as innocent, this world would have turned into paradise long ago, with everyone being perfect saints. However, since even Leo didn't resist, everyone got into the vehicle, obediently accepting their roles as suspects. Without any delay, within a few minutes, all 27 teams boarded the vehicles and headed for the frontier. Meanwhile, at the frontier, inside General White's office. "What is this?" Asking me to lead the guys from the camp. A burly, dark-skinned, middle-aged man looked at General White with dissatisfaction. General White, although those guys are leads from various military districts, to put it bluntly, for the frontier, they're just a bunch of rookies. If you ask me, let them go back where they came from. I hate training rookies the most. Hearing this, General White picked up his thermos and spoke unhurriedly. "So, Instructor Slater, you can only teach elites, not rookies?" Instructor Slater looked bitter. "That's not what I meant." "Oomph." General White snorted coldly, interrupting him. "If they're already elites, would they need you to teach them? If everyone at the frontier was like you, what would happen to the new recruits in the future? Let them fend for themselves? Is that what you mean?" Hearing this, Slater let out a long sigh. "Don't say any more, sir. I'll lead them, all right?" General White glanced at him. "That's more like it." Then he took a sip of tea and asked, "How is that person doing?" Slater naturally knew who he was asking about, so he said excitedly, "He's simply the elite of elites. Within 3 months, he'll definitely make special operative." "General, where on earth did you dig him up? He's a talent among talents." General White nodded slightly. "Don't ask too many questions. Just do your job." Slater pursed his lips, knowing the other party didn't want to say more, so he stopped talking. Just as Leo and the others left for the frontier, deep within the mountain forest, a figure, pitch black like charcoal, stumbled along. Step, step, step. His feet crunched on the fallen leaves, the sound messy and disordered, enough to show that this person was in very bad shape. Finally, as if exhausted, Gareth Granger leaned against a tree, gasping for air. Cough, cough. Gareth was incredibly weak, his whole body trembling. At this moment, he didn't even look human anymore. That explosion at the camp had really almost sent him to Hell's Gates. Fear flooded his eyes. This was truly the closest he had ever been to death. There are still frontier people patrolling nearby. Can't stay long. Bitterness rose in Gareth's heart. In his current state, even an elementary schooler could probably kill him. Taking advantage of this moment of rest, Gareth carefully pulled something out of his chest pocket. The mithril pistol. At the very last moment, he had snatched this gun, the thing he had dreamed of. But was it really worth it? Gareth suddenly had this doubt. To turn himself into this ghostly state, notorious and hunted by everyone, just for a key. But things having reached this point, there was no turning back. I didn't expect Leo to actually throw the real thing out. At first, Gareth had suspected it was a fake. But the moment he held the mithril pistol, he knew it was absolutely genuine. Mithril was something that absolutely couldn't be faked. In this world, it was impossible to use so much mithril to create another gun like this. Next, as long as I find the location of the horde, everything will be accomplished. Gareth took a deep breath, propped up his body, and slowly stood up. Now, not only the people from the frontier, but even the Vulture organization probably want to kill him. He had to hurry. Thinking of this, Gareth became incredibly cautious, moving carefully forward. Meanwhile, on the vehicle carrying Leo and the others. Full house. Pass. 4 aces bomb. Pair of 2s. I only have 2 cards left. 2 cards again? Old man Kane, do you have a bomb? Do I look like I have a bomb? Every hand is garbage. Did you guys shuffle the deck properly? You suck at poker because you suck. Ava shuffled. You think she'd cheat? Stop yapping, you too. Royal flush. I win. Leo threw down his last cards. Kane and Ethan looked helpless. I'm done. This is boring. Kane threw his cards down, pointing at Leo and Ava. You couple definitely cheated. Otherwise, how could he have a winning hand every time? Do you have evidence? Leo asked back. If you don't have evidence, don't talk nonsense, just like that Landon White. Exactly, Ava chimed in. I shuffled right in front of you. How could I cheat? Kane and Ethan were speechless because they really couldn't figure out how the 2 of them were cheating. Anyway, I'm not playing with you. Harvey, come swap with Leo. The 3 of us will play. Ethan shouted to Harvey. In just a short while, they had gotten familiar with Harvey. Since these guys were social butterflies, social anxiety didn't exist for them. Hearing this, Harvey said somewhat embarrassedly, maybe I shouldn't. I cheat a lot when I play cards too. Hearing this, everyone looked at him with strange eyes. You kid with those thick eyebrows and big eyes looking so honest. Turns out you're dishonest too. The key was this guy actually admitted it so openly. You people playing poker so dirty. I'm ashamed to be associated with you. Ethan threw down his cards, although he said that inwardly he was already planning to find a chance to practice his sleight of hand. If you can't beat him, join him. You cheat, I cheat, let's see who's better. Aside, Mad Dog Wu, who was responsible for supervising them, had been dumbfounded watching from the side. From the moment they got on the bus, these people inexplicably pulled out a deck of cards and started playing poker. He really wanted to ask, why do you guys carry playing cards on you? If Landon White knew about their current situation, he'd probably be pissed off again. Fortunately, Mad Dog Wu's ability to accept things was quite strong, and gradually, he got used to their habits. Cough, cough. Just as well, while we have this chance, I'll tell you about the situation at the frontier. Mad Dog looked at them. Do you have anything you want to ask? Hearing this, everyone raised their hands, looking like elementary school students in a classroom. Mad Dog nodded slightly. It seemed these people were quite eager to know about the frontier's intelligence. Right? Knowing yourself and the enemy helps operations. Okay, let's go one by one. Since it's still early, I'll answer your questions one by one. Mad Dog looked at them, smiling. Go ahead. What do you want to know? Leo was the first. Where's the frontier armory? Specifically, the part where they keep the explosives. Ethan asked, is there a bathhouse? I've been wanting to take a shower. Adrian asked, what's the penalty for hacking into the frontier's network system? Shane Quill shouted, can we turn around now? I don't want to go to the frontier. Kane asked, can we trade arms there? I want to get a good gun. They all chimed in with questions, and with each one, Mad Dog's face grew darker. What do you think the frontier is? Can you ask some serious questions? Even if I knew the answers to these, I wouldn't dare tell you. If something really happened later, wouldn't he have to take the responsibility? He couldn't guarantee for the others, but Leo would definitely do something. If the armory blew up later, Mad Dog would definitely be the first scapegoat. Cough. Well, about the frontier, I don't know much either. After thinking for a moment, Mad Dog decisively chose to shut up. You can find out for yourselves when you get there. He didn't dare say another word, terrified that this group would cause trouble and shift the blame onto him. Hearing this, everyone instantly lost interest. Only Shane kept asking if they could turn back. Just like that, as time passed, they got closer and closer to the frontier. Meanwhile, far away at the frontier, Instructor Slater also received a list of this batch of people. What he didn't know was that the information regarding Leo's group on the list had been tampered with. Hours ago, everything related to Leo had been classified as top secret. No one could access it. Even Commander Hayes and the others had been issued a gag order, forbidden from speaking about Leo's information. Dawn broke. As the long night passed and the sun rose from the east, a long convoy of vehicles crossed the borderline, arriving at the city of the frontier, Easton. Ahead is Easton. Mad Dog Wu spoke up. Generally, only the front lines see a lot of combat. When there's nothing going on, everyone stays inside Easton. Of course, all the major functional systems of the frontier are also within Easton. You can understand this place as our main base. While Mad Dog spoke, their vehicle drove into Easton, passing through extremely strict checks. Even Landon White had to obediently get out of the car and be carefully verified after showing his ID. After confirming there were no issues, everyone successfully entered Easton. Through the window, Leo and the others sized up this frontier city. Unlike ordinary cities, there were no bustling, lively street markets here. Everywhere revealed an atmosphere of austere, killing intent. Passing a fork in the road, Leo and the others frowned, because their vehicle separated from the others. "What's going on?" Mad Dog asked the driver. "Where are we going?" "Sorry, Sergeant Wu. I'm following orders from above," the driver said. "Don't worry, this is Easton. No one would dare cause trouble here." Mad Dog thought about it. That was true, but he still looked at Leo with some concern. Others wouldn't dare cause trouble, but this guy wasn't guaranteed. If you really provoked him, it wasn't impossible for him to blow up Easton. Fortunately, Leo's emotions didn't seem to fluctuate much, and the group didn't say anything more. Not long after, the vehicle stopped. "We're here. Get out," the driver said. Everyone got out. In front of them was a building resembling a small tea house. A tea house? Open in a place like this? Harvey, he was curious. There's nothing around here. Can a tea house make money? Mad Dog looked solemn. The moment he saw the tea house, he knew who wanted to see Leo. "We'll know when we go in." Leo looked calm. "Let's see if this tea house actually sells tea." With that, he took the lead and stepped inside. In the center of the spacious ground floor, only a white-haired old man sat in a chair, focused on brewing tea. Mad Dog recognized the old man and immediately stepped forward. "General White, it really is you." Hearing this, General White slowly raised his head, looking at the group before him. Finally, his gaze settled on Leo. "You must be Leo Evans. I've been waiting for you for a long time." Leo raised an eyebrow. "Didn't I hear you suspected us of being Vulture members? Meeting privately like this isn't very appropriate, is it?" General White chuckled. "Could it be that my suspicion was wrong?" He slowly extended a hand, pointing at Harvey, he behind Leo. "Is he?" "Not." Harvey's face instantly changed. Strictly speaking, he was. If not for Leo, he would still be Vulture 7, a subordinate of the Vulture. Could it be that because of him, the frontier people were targeting Leo and the others? Harvey couldn't make up his mind for a moment. If that were the case, the situation wasn't good. If they just targeted him, that was fine. At worst, he would confess and take all the blame. But if the other side was dead set on using this to target Leo, being in their main base, it was no different from entering a tiger's den. Unexpectedly, just as Harvey was worrying, Leo made a shocking move. In front of everyone, he slowly took out the mask of Vulture 7 and put it on his face. "General White, your suspicion is indeed correct. Not only is he one of the Vulture's people, I am too." Leo put on the mask, his voice slightly raspy. "Is this answer satisfactory?" As his voice fell, a gun appeared in his hand, slowly raising to aim at General White. "Leo, what are you doing?" Mad Dog was shaken to his core. He shouted, "Put the gun down." He never dreamed the situation would turn out like this. Why did Leo have a Vulture mask? What exactly did General White want? What was going on? Mad Dog felt like his head was going to explode. He had no idea what to do in this situation. If Leo really killed General White, the consequences would be unimaginable. General White remained unhurried, calmly saying, "Leo, I've seen your file. You can't be a member of the Vulture." Leo chuckled lightly. "Maybe not before, but who can say about the future? If you insist on labeling me as Vulture and put us in a position where we must die, isn't it normal for us to defect for self-preservation?" Hearing this, General White's eyes narrowed slightly. "You defect to join the Vulture? Why not? I already threw away the mithril pistol. The conflict of interest with the Vulture is gone. I think they'd welcome me joining them. But your grandfather is a soldier, your parents were soldiers, and you are a soldier. Should a soldier die bearing a false charge? Besides, I haven't been one for more than a few days. Just a temp." Leo sneered. "I, including these people behind me, are free agents. We go where we want. If we want to do evil, we do evil. If we want to do good, we do good. People like us are exactly what the Vulture needs most." Listening to their dialogue, sweat emerged on Mad Dog's forehead because he discovered Leo wasn't wrong. None of these people were honest, good citizens. When faced with the threat of death, becoming villains wasn't impossible for them. After a long silence, General White shook his head. Leo, you really are a smart man. Good and evil. On you, they're hard to see clearly. Leo laughed self-deprecatingly. I can't help it. This society is just messed up like this. Good people can't survive, and I can't go against my conscience to be a villain. The only way to live is to not be a damn fool. Then, he slowly lowered the gun, took off the mask, and looked at General White. General, was that script just now to your liking? General White nodded slightly. Although there were some omissions, I believe you can handle the small details yourself. Hearing this, Mad Dog and the others were confused, unable to see the meaning behind these actions. What were these two doing just now? They made up just like that? Finally, Mad Dog couldn't help but ask, General White, you and Leo are... Don't you understand? General White looked at him. A plan to have Leo infiltrate the Vulture. Everyone froze. Sending Leo undercover in the Vulture? How is that possible? He was enemies with the Vulture to that extent before. Would the Vulture accept him now? Mad Dog frowned. If he disguises himself and joins as a rookie, he won't be able to reach the core. That's pointless. Leo nodded. Mad Dog was right. His previous undercover operations basically involved disguising himself as someone else. This time was different. He had to join the Vulture with his true identity. Only then would he be valued and have the chance to access the core. So, this matter must be designed carefully, General White said. We must make the Vulture believe that it is absolutely impossible for Leo to be on our side. Only then is success possible. He looked at Leo. Leo, this is a classified mission. Aside from me, only the Commander-in-Chief knows. As for the others present today, I believe you know what to do. He referred to Mad Dog, Kane, and the others. Originally, the fewer people who knew about this, the better. But to ensure the plan went smoothly, Kane and the others' help was indispensable. The name of this plan is Operation Vulturefall. The intent is to completely dismantle the Vulture organization. Leo, starting today, I am your sole contact. Whatever help you need, I will do my utmost to assist you. General White looked deeply at Leo. Our goal is singular. Eradicate the Vulture organization. Leave no one. Leo looked solemn, standing straight, his gaze firmly on General White. Then, 3 words slowly came out of his mouth. I don't do it. Good, I believe you can. Wait, what did you say? General White's eyes widened slightly, thinking he was hallucinating. Leo put his hands in his pockets, looking lazy. General White, you have absolutely no sincerity. We've been talking here for so long. The plan is good, the goal is noble. But, where are the benefits? Leo complained. Even a donkey grinding flour gets a couple of carrots. Even an ox plowing the field gets to eat some grass. You shove such a big mission on me without mentioning a single benefit. Are you taking me for a fresh college grad you can swindle? Hearing this, General White was dumbfounded. He had been in the frontier for so many years. He always gave orders, and people executed them without a word. If a mission wasn't done well, they'd get punished. Now Leo actually asked him for benefits in front of everyone. This is for the sake of national righteousness. How can you ask for benefits? General White frowned. Leo glanced at him, then slowly raised his hand. Bye-bye then. With that, he turned and walked away without any hesitation. Mad Dog watched, stunned. This was the first time he had seen General White treated like this. Come back. General White's voice unconsciously grew louder, feeling incredibly stifled. No wonder Sterling laughed so strangely when he proposed his plan to him. At the time, General White thought Sterling wasn't optimistic about the plan. Now he understood. The plan was right, but the person was wrong. This Leo Evans, seeing him in person, beat hearing about him. He didn't play by the rules at all. Leo, getting into Easton is easy, but leaving isn't so simple. General White snorted coldly, threateningly. Before, perhaps no one could handle you. But this is the frontier. You can ask around. In the frontier, there hasn't been a troublemaker General White, couldn't handle. Leo stopped, slowly turning his head. Old man, soft tactics didn't work. So you want to try hard ones? At your age, can you even get hard anymore? General White slowly stood up, staring intently at Leo. Tell me, what benefits do you want? Seeing this, the corners of Leo's mouth curled up slightly. Actually, it's not really benefits. Just a few small requests. First, I want that Landon White to write me an apology letter and read it out in a way that the entire Easton can hear. Leo finally bared his fangs. Upholding the principle of avenging grudges, he wanted to start with Landon White. Hearing this, Mad Dog shook his head repeatedly. Absolutely impossible. Doing that would be worse than killing Landon. At least in his eyes, Landon would never do it. Sure enough, General White immediately said, Landon's actions were all under my orders. It has nothing to do with him. General, now you're showing no sincerity. Leo shook his head. This is just my first request, and you're already bargaining. It's hard for me to say the later requests. After a long silence, General White said, state all your requests at once, and I'll consider them. Fine. My second request is... Leo enunciated each word. I need you to use your resources to promote me. At the very least, let the whole world know there's someone like me. This condition was what Leo really wanted. The progress bar for the global icon achievement had been stuck for too long. Relying on himself, who knew when it would be completed. Better to use this chance to let General White handle it. He would just lie back and watch the progress bar fill up. Holy shit. Host, you finally remember the main quest. Boo-hoo, it's not easy for me. You're finally doing business, the long-lost system voice sounding slightly aggrieved. However, while this was business for the system, in the eyes of General White and the others, this matter was very baffling. What are you trying to do? General White couldn't help but say, I went through so much trouble to seal your file and make it top secret, just to make you more hidden. It's only been sealed for a few hours, and you make this request to let the whole world know about you. What are you up to? Hearing this, Leo froze for 2 seconds, then glared at General White, cursing inwardly. You damn old geezer. I was wondering why my progress bar wouldn't move no matter how much I pulled. Turns out it was you, old bastard. Messing things up? Why did you seal my file? I've been busting my ass here just to get my name out and complete the system's ultimate mission. And you just went and turned all my efforts into classified information. Thanks a lot. Learning the truth, Leo's fists clenched unconsciously. He kind of wanted to beat up the old geezer in front of him. But the traditional virtue of respecting the old and cherishing the young was carved into his bones. Leo thought about it and decided not to strike. Anyway, this old man probably didn't have many years left to live. Leo continued, Third, I need absolute autonomy. I don't want anyone interfering with my plan, including you. Hearing this sentence, General White was slightly stunned, momentarily dazed. In General White's eyes, Leo's figure gradually transformed into Sterling's appearance. Because years ago, Sterling had stood before him and said similar words. General, Sterling, can be indifferent about other things. But regarding Louis's matter, nobody gets a say, including you. It felt like returning to years ago. Today's Leo was just like Sterling back then. No, different. Although Sterling did things crazily sometimes, he always considered the consequences. Leo was different. This young man never knew what consequences were. If you really provoked him, joining the Vulture might not be a joke. After all, the people in the Vulture organization were lunatics. And in a sense, Leo was a lunatic too. Seeing the slight lift at the corner of Leo's mouth, General White actually felt some regret. He had thought too simply. A person like Leo wasn't someone he could control. If he had known this, he would rather not have let Leo come to Easton. After a long while, General White sighed and said, I need time to consider your 3 conditions. No problem. Leo nodded. My plan also needs time to prepare. General White nodded, then turned to look at Mad Dog. Take them to find Slater. Tell Slater to treat them normally. During this time, you can familiarize yourselves with Easton. Also, the matter of you being suspects has probably spread within the city, so be careful. Hearing this, Leo sneered. Spread real fast, huh? We've only been here a few minutes. General White shook his head helplessly. The impact of the camp explosion was too great. The speed at which rumors spread is terrifying. Also, the Vulture probably contributed quite a bit to this aspect. Fine. Leo nodded, looking indifferent. If anyone's blind enough to trouble me, I'll handle it myself. With that, Leo turned and walked out the door. The others followed his steps, and Mad Dog prepared to take them to Slater according to the original plan. Reaching the car door, Leo suddenly turned his head to look at the tea house, whispering softly. Don't know if I should call it brave or cowardly. Came all this way, but didn't dare show his face. Is he afraid I'll attack? He shook his head, then opened the door and sat in the passenger seat. After Leo and the others left, General White sat in his chair, quietly brewing tea. Step, step, step. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps rang out. A figure slowly walked down from upstairs. Then he sat slowly in front of General White, picked up a teacup and took a sip. General White looked at him and shook his head. The tea is cold now that the person is gone. You're finally willing to show yourself. Can't be helped. I have no choice. The man smiled bitterly. You know, appearing here is already a huge risk for me. No one would have thought that inside this small tea house sat the two most powerful figures in the frontier, drinking tea. The man sitting opposite General White was the highest leader of the entire Easton. Commander-in-Chief of the frontier, William Sky. You heard what the kid said. What do you think? General White asked William Sky. Gamble on it. William Sky took a deep breath, remaining silent for a long time. He just kept playing with the teacup in his hand. Seeing this, General White frowned. Stop playing with my tea set. If you break it, I'm not done with you. Hearing this, William Sky sheepishly put the teacup down slowly, then sighed. Do we really have to play this big? Otherwise, do you have a better way? General White snorted. Does the current situation give us time to consider? The surfacing of the Vulture organization proves there must have been something fishy about Louis's matter back then. Back then, Sterling said there must be a mastermind controlling everything behind the scenes. No one believed him, including me, so that guy bet us that he wouldn't return to the frontier until he dragged those guys out. Now, Sterling has proven he was right. The Vulture organization's reach is deeper than we imagined. William Sky, ask yourself honestly, in the entire frontier right now, can you count the people you fully trust on one hand? General White's words were like heavy hammer blows, striking William Sky's heart one after another. William Sky sighed deeply, looking worried. But that guy really looks unreliable. If Leo looked even a little bit reliable, William Sky might have taken a bet. How about we talk to Sterling? See if there's a better way. William Sky suggested. That guy's a lot of ideas. Maybe if he thinks about it more, he can come up with something better. General White shook his head. I already asked him. If it were just rooting out the Vulture organization within the country, Sterling has plenty of ways. But he's not confident about catching the leader, the Vulture. As long as that guy is safe, the Vulture organization can regenerate. We are gambling, and Sterling is gambling too. He's betting Leo can throw the Vulture into chaos, and then he'll find an opportunity in the midst of it. Hearing this, William Sky started scratching his head again. Others won't work. We have so many special operatives, let them. General White sneered. Leo could play your special operatives to death with one hand. Do you believe that? I'm not talking about combat power, but brains and boundaries. A person like Leo has combat power, has brains, and has no boundaries. That's the most terrifying. William Sky was rendered speechless by General White, feeling only a headache. After a long while, as if giving up the struggle, he said, I don't care. Do whatever you want. I must have sinned in my past life to end up with this pile of crap. The previous commanders-in-chief had smooth sailing, no issues at all. When it gets to me, it's Vulture this and Leo that, just purely out to get me. William Sky waved his hand in the chair, deciding right then and there. Bet it is. All in. Meanwhile, on the other side, Instructor Slater also met Bill Zane and the others. On the vast training ground, 27 teams stood in orderly ranks. Many looked at Slater with confusion, not knowing the background of the man before them. Stand straight for me. Slater roared at them. Let me introduce myself. My name is Slater. From today on, I am your instructor. You can call me Instructor Slater, and you will only call me Instructor Slater. I don't care how awesome you were before or how good your records look. Here, everything starts from zero. In front of me, you're just a bunch of rookies, understand? Stand up straight. Slater's words caused many to frown, especially Bill Zane and Rex Titan, clearly the type of thorns who didn't like being managed. Rex Titan spoke up immediately. Who do you think you are, talking so aggressively? We are contestants in the grand competition, not your soldiers. Why should we listen to your orders? Hearing this, Slater immediately fixed his gaze on him, smiling slightly. You don't accept it? That's right, I don't. Slater nodded, then looked at the crowd and shouted. Who else doesn't accept it? Step out together. I love teaching Thorns a lesson the most. As his voice fell, quite a few people raised their hands, including Bill Zane and Felix Jeong. 1, 2, 17 people. Slater nodded. 17 thorns. Very good. Then, he took off his jacket and waved at them. You 17, come at me one by one. Today, I'm going to set the rules for you. Seeing this, the people standing next to Slater started whispering. That Slater guy is posing again. Exactly. A special operative bullying rookies. Isn't he ashamed? He's getting more and more skilled at this shameless stuff. However, Bill Zane and the others didn't hear these words. After exchanging glances, they began to attack Slater in turns. Soon, the sounds of fighting and Slater's mockery rang out across the training ground. That's it. Are you throwing haymakers? You haven't even stabilized your lower body, and you're rushing to attack? In a hurry to reincarnate. TSK, I thought that was a feint. Turns out you actually suck. Hey, you got some skill. Ah, spoke too soon. I take that back. Felix Jiang, right? Good bearing, but the strength is lacking a bit. As time passed, the 17 people were continuously defeated by Slater. The crowd finally realized that the man before them truly had the capital to be arrogant. Especially Bill Zane and the others. In the process of fighting Slater, they felt it deeply. His combat skills and force exertion were completely levels above them. What they didn't know was that there were only a few special operatives in the entire frontier. Slater wasn't just a special operative. He was one of the stronger ones. So, these thorns had really kicked an iron plate this time. The training ground is ahead. I'll drop you off here. Mad Dog dropped Leo and the others near the training ground. As soon as they got out of the car, the group froze. Because standing in front of them was a figure who had clearly been waiting for them for a long time. Bro. Ava was the first to recognize Julian Reed. She shouted, "Why are you here?" Seeing Ava, Julian smiled gently. "Arrived yesterday. I'm here to pick you up and take you to your living quarters." Hearing this, everyone remembered that only Leo and Ethan needed to go to the training ground to join the teams. After all, they were both captains. "Mr. Reed, young miss." Marco popped his head out of the car, waving at them. Leo nodded slightly. This was good. Dumping the people behind him on Julian was convenient. Otherwise, it would be troublesome for him to bring them along. Julian looked at Leo and said, "You do what you need to do. I'll protect Ava." Hearing this, Kane and the others' faces darkened. "So we don't need protection, huh?" Leo looked at Julian and asked, "Where's Sterling?" "Planning some evil deed to trap people again." "He's hiding from you," Julian teased. "You're carrying a bunch of trouble right now. He's afraid of getting splashed." "Tisk, that's a pity. I was planning to make him take the fall for me." "You should do less of that stuff. It's unethical." "Yeah, you do less of this than I do." Leo looked at Julian disdainfully. "Let's not criticize each other, okay? At least I'm bad openly." Julian was speechless. Is there really anything to be proud of in that? Subsequently, Ava and the others got into Marco's car and left with Julian, leaving only Leo and Ethan behind. Before leaving, Leo exchanged a look with Adrian. Adrian nodded slightly, indicating he understood. Then, the little white cat, Spike, was also released by Ava to roam freely in Easton. Leo believed that within 24 hours, Easton's network system and cat society would all be under his control. Especially Spike, Leo was extremely reassured by him. After today, if even a mouse passed by in Easton, it would have to bow its head and call Leo boss upon seeing him. Sometimes Leo wondered if cat society ever had a sweeping crackdown on crime. Spike would definitely be a mafia boss-level cat. After Mad Dog left too, Leo and Ethan slowly walked into the training ground. Just at this moment, the last of the 17 people had just been ravaged by Slater. "A bunch of trash." Slater cursed at the crowd. "With skills like yours, going to the battlefield is just delivering heads. And you call yourselves military talents? That's it." Slater's words made everyone turn red in the face, but they dared not speak out in anger. Neither Bill Zane nor Felix Jiang was a match for Slater, so they definitely couldn't win. "Report! Report!" Just then, two jarringly abrupt voices sounded behind Slater. Slater was startled inside. He whirled around, seeing Leo and Ethan standing not far behind him. "When did these two get behind me? Why wasn't there any sound?" Slater was somewhat surprised. With his keen senses, he hadn't detected the two immediately. He couldn't have imagined that this was the most normal thing. Whether it was Leo or Ethan, both were ancestors of ambush. Moving silently and launching sneak attacks had long been their daily bread. Especially Ethan, who often hid in corners throwing knives. His main thing was ambushing people. It was perfectly normal for these two to do things silently, because that was professional quality carved into their bones. Instructor Slater looked at Leo and Ethan with confusion, but he quickly reacted, his face turning solemn in a second. "You two, what are your names?" "Leo Evans." "Ethan Sia." Slater quickly flipped through the list in his hand and soon found their names. "Ah, captains." He looked up, scrutinizing the two, enunciating each word. "I don't care what reason you have for being late. Under my rules, you must be punished." It just so happened he felt the fire he lit earlier wasn't burning hot enough. Using these two to set an example, killing the chicken to scare the monkeys. Leo and Ethan looked at each other. Then Leo slowly raised his hand like an elementary school student in class, clearly having something to say. Slater snorted. "Shout report before you want to speak." "Report," Leo complied. "Speak. What do you want to say?" Leo narrowed his eyes, looking at Slater. Who are you? 3 plain words made Lieutenant Sarge, Sue, and the others unable to hold back their laughter. Bill Zane and the others also looked like they were watching a good show, even expecting it. You could have picked anyone to set an example with, but you picked Leo. Can only say, you really know how to pick him. Hearing Leo's words, the corner of Slater's eye twitched. Very good. Remember this, my name is Slater. I will make sure you have a deep impression of me. Hearing this, Leo looked at him vigilantly, even taking a few steps back, whispering to Ethan. Ethan, this guy's orientation wouldn't happen to be problematic, would it? Hard to say. He does look like Shane Quill's type. Screw you. I told you I have nothing to do with that prophet. I didn't say you had anything to do with him. What are you nervous about? Fine, you wait. Later I'll tell Lucia Shang that you and Shane have a thing going on. That mouth of yours really ought to be torn off. The two whispered recklessly, completely disregarding Slater. This really pissed Slater off. Yeah, I see. You two are thorns too. Slater sneered. Listen up. Starting now, run laps around the entirety of Easton for me. I don't care how long you run. Even if you run until you die, you have to finish 1 lap. If you don't finish within 24 hours, you two go back where you came from. Then, he turned and pointed at the crowd, shouting, the same goes for you. As time goes on, I will eliminate the trash among you. Those who can't keep up don't deserve to stay. The frontier only needs elites, not rookies. If you want to stay here, be mentally prepared. I will make every day feel like hell for you. Now, tell me loudly, do you want to become the elites who stay, or the rookies who roll back home? In front, the crowd seemed ignited by Slater's words. One by one, as if injected with adrenaline, they shouted excitedly, we want to be elites. Louder. I can't hear you. What do you want to be? Elites? Seeing this, Slater smiled slightly, very satisfied with the effect he created. However, when he turned his head, he was dumbfounded again. And where are those two? Weren't they just behind me? Report, Instructor Slater. Someone whispered, the moment you turned your head just now, those two left. Hearing this, Slater didn't know what to say for a moment. Running a lap around Easton within 24 hours. Even for him, it was a bit of a stretch. Forget it. Consider it a lesson for them. Slater thought to himself, when the time is about right, I'll bring those 2 rookies back. He then ignored the matter and officially started training. On the other side, Leo and Ethan, who were supposed to be running laps, were wandering around Easton looking bored. Ethan curled his lip. It's all your fault. You got me treated like a bad student by the instructor. Come on. Leo gave him the middle finger. You slip away faster than I did just now. Who's corrupting who? What do we do next? What if they really kick us home? Yeah, kick me home? If he does, that guy named White will be begging me to come back, believe it or not. Leo looked disdainful, assuming the air of an arrogant brat. You, an instructor, dare to command me? Bro has connections up top. I have a background. I'm a spoiled princeling. Besides, he and Ethan weren't soldiers to begin with. They were hired thugs brought in for the competition. Leo only agreed to Commander Hayes because he wanted to come to the frontier. When they discussed cooperation, they didn't say anything about playing military training house. Soon, the 2 hungry men found a noodle shop in Easton. It was said to serve the frontier's special pot roast noodles and had been open for some years. Boss, 2 bowls of pot roast noodles. Coming right up. Find a seat, be right there. Leo and Ethan had just found a seat when a surprised voice came from the side, attracting their attention. Leo, why are you here? Leo turned his head. Yo, what a coincidence. Sitting next to them was none other than Landon White. He was slurping noodles with a dumbfounded look, eyes wide, not understanding why Leo appeared here. From what he knew, Leo should be the training ground right now, or maybe somewhere else. But why a noodle shop? You didn't go find Slater? Landon couldn't help but ask. You mean that instructor? Met him already. Then you are. Here to eat pot roast noodles. Heard this place tastes good. Is it true? Landon's mouth twitched. Does Slater know you're eating noodles? No. He told us to run laps around Easton. Then why are you here? Didn't I say? Because I heard the noodles here are good. Leo frowned at Landon. Why are you talking so weirdly? Landon gritted his teeth. You're the weird one here. He looked at Leo seriously. Do you know that this kind of behavior can lead to serious punishment or even expulsion from the military? Leo blinked. Expulsion? I'd have to be in the military to be expelled. Hearing this, Landon was even more confused. You don't have military status? No, I'm a temporary employee, like an external contractor, you know. Ethan nodded, chiming in, same here. I thought only our place operated like this. Strictly speaking, the actions of their 2 military districts were exploiting a loophole in the competition rules. But no one had dared to do this before, This was the first time. And learning the truth, Landon White's brain truly crashed in that moment. You can freaking do that. Knowing the truth, tears fell from my eyes. These words slowly drifted through Landon White's mind. The two people in front of him didn't have military status. They were external hires. What the hell was this? Don't? He recalled the Frontier wasn't hiring summer interns right now. At this moment, the owner brought a tray and served the pot roast noodles to Leo and Ethan. Looking at the appetizing noodles, Leo and Ethan couldn't be bothered with Landon. They picked up their chopsticks and started digging in. Holy crap, the taste is actually legit. Indeed, I haven't had noodles this good back in Westlake City. Watching the two eat with greasy mouths, Landon was speechless. He even felt it necessary to arrest these two, otherwise trouble would ensue. Just then, another gruff voice rang out, attracting everyone's attention. "Old Doc, don't worry. Louis recommended this noodle shop to me. Guaranteed to be good. Boss." 2 bowls of pot roast noodles, eating. Master Silas walked in boisterously with Dr. Horace Kane, about to order noodles. Then, he locked eyes with Leo, whose mouth was stuffed with noodles. His words stopped abruptly, and the atmosphere instantly solidified. 0.1 seconds later, Silas changed his tune expressionlessly. "Boss, we'll take it a go." As if staying 1 second longer would cause something bad to happen. Leo slurped up the noodles in his mouth in one breath and looked at Silas. "Why take it a go? Affects the texture. Eating it fresh is the most delicious." The owner looked at the two, asking hesitantly, "To go or for here?" Silas was incredibly conflicted inside, but behind him, Dr. Horace Kane said, "Let's just eat here. Bringing it back is a hassle." Then, he walked in first and sat at a table near Leo. Seeing this, Silas let out a long sigh, then followed and sat down. "You must be Leo Evans?" Horace looked at Leo and smiled. "This should be our first time meeting. I'm Horace Kane, a doctor." "Doctor?" Leo raised an eyebrow. "A legitimate doctor?" "Of course, a legitimate doctor. Doesn't look like it. You don't look like one either." "Like what?" "Like a legitimate person." "Oh." Leo immediately turned his head. "Brother Landon, he's slandering me. I'm suing him. I suspect he's with the Vulture." Landon White looked confused. "How does this involve me? And what did you call me? Brother Landon? Since when do we have that relationship? You used to call me White something." Silas and Horace only now noticed Landon's presence. But they didn't know Landon. "Who's this guy?" "Someone from the streets." Silas heard Leo call him Brother Landon and assumed Landon was a gangster. Landon gritted his teeth and looked at Leo. "Leo, are you mocking me?" Leo shook his head and smiled. "Say, Landon, aren't you tired? Clearly not angry at all inside. Why act so hard? Going for an Oscar? Although I don't watch many TV dramas. Fake people like you usually don't have good endings." Hearing this, the angry expression on Landon's face gradually retracted, finally transforming into a calm look. Landon's voice was no longer low, but indifferent. "Leo, you're smarter than I imagined. Thanks for the compliment. I was the top-ranked scholar. How did you detect it?" "You overacted," Leo said calmly. "As a high-ranking inspector, your emotional control is too poor. It's unreasonable. Honestly, making you angry is easier than making Gareth Granger angry." Gareth Granger's poor emotional control was a particularly fatal weakness. This was why he had been played by Leo until now. But Gareth had fooled everyone in NYC, proving he wasn't brainless. At first, Leo thought Gareth was playing dumb, but it turned out the guy was actually dumb. Even the Vulture organization could use him. So Leo suspected that while Gareth gained power, he lost something. For example, reason. The initial variants could be said to have no reason at all, completely wild beasts. And Gareth's so-called evolution was based on the variants. So more or less, he would encounter some problems. Perhaps Gareth realized this too, which was why he said his evolution was imperfect and needed the amber fruit to supplement his lost reason. Landon shook his head. "Pity. Smart people usually die young." "Really?" Leo nodded, speaking lightly. "Then I wish your whole family is smarter than me. That mouth of yours is just as ruthless and toxic as the rumors say." "I don't admit to that. During the holidays, all my relatives praise me for being well-behaved and sensible." At this moment, no matter how good Landon's temper was, he didn't want to talk to Leo anymore. Silas listened to their conversation from the side, wanting to leave more and more. "You guys chat. I'm leaving." Landon picked up his briefcase. "One more thing. I'm a person who hates trouble quite a bit. Those things were done by my grandfather's orders. They have nothing to do with me." The implication was, if you want to find trouble, go find my grandfather. Don't find me. I'm innocent. With that, Landon walked straight out of the noodle shop. At this time, Silas and Horace's noodles were served. The two tables ate noodles, chatting occasionally. Baldy, what do you guys plan to do here? Leo asked Silas. Hearing this nickname, Silas's eye twitched, but he still spoke. We don't know either. Sterling is commanding everything. We do whatever he says. Fisk, what's the fun in following Sterling? Might as well follow me. I'll take you to play something exciting. Don't. Brother Leo, can I call you brother? Silas quickly said, just hearing about the things you do is exciting enough. I don't need to follow you to do them. What are you afraid of? At your age, 40 or 50, it's the prime time to venture out. Leo tempted him. Besides, following me, you can make a name for yourself. I feel your reputation isn't loud enough right now. Before Silas could speak, Ethan couldn't help but laugh. True, your reputation is indeed loud, but it's all bad. Ethan, that's pure slander. Slander you again? Who did all that arson and murder if not you? Gareth Granger. Leo said matter-of-factly. Every time, I want to save the suffering and eliminate violence to bring peace. I have a reputation in North Point. The common folk even sent me silk banners. Arson and murder, Gareth Granger, savior of the suffering Commander Leo. Ethan couldn't stay calm hearing this. Commander Leo? That was meant for your grandfather, wasn't it? So what? My grandpa said what's his mind. Leo looked proud. This is the glory of our family. I share in the honor. Ethan covered his face in pain, suppressing the urge to kill this guy with a throwing knife. Too damn shameless. The banter between Leo Evans and Ethan Sia was enough to make Dr. Horace Kane chuckle despite himself. A moment later, however, he straightened his face and addressed Leo seriously. Right now, your name is buzzing all over Easton. Everyone suspects you're in bed with the vulture. Horace leaned forward. You've been the one throwing blame on others for so long. You probably never thought the day would come when you'd be the one framed, did you? What's your play? Leo calmly finished the last of the soup in his bowl, set it down, and shrugged. What play? I do nothing. The enemy doesn't move, I don't move. Until they make a move, I'm just going to pretend nothing happened. Ethan laughed immediately. Doesn't move? What are you? Two turtles having a staring contest. Horace turned to look at him, puzzled. What are you laughing at? You're in the exact same boat as Leo. Ethan's laughter cut off abruptly, his expression freezing. He pointed a finger at himself in disbelief. Me? What does this have to do with me? I didn't do anything. Leo says he didn't do anything either. You think anyone believes him? Horace shrugged. No, seriously, I really didn't do anything. Ethan felt like the sky was falling. I was in the woods doing the team competition the whole time. That's exactly what Leo said, too. Ethan's mouth hung open, words failing him. The only way to clear his name now would be to sell Leo out. But who was Leo Evans? If he was going down, he was absolutely dragging you down with him. At that moment, Silas, the mute master, spoke up. Leo, I heard you threw away the mithril pistol. True or false? True, Leo replied calmly. That thing is a hot potato. Better to just toss it. Silas's mouth twitched. Then, who has it now? Dunno. Probably Gareth Granger, if that guy isn't dead yet. You don't plan on taking it back? Why would I? Plenty of people want that thing. Why should I wade into those muddy waters? Leo calculated silently. If the mithril pistol really was in Gareth's hands, that guy's life was currently a living hell. The Vulture's agents, the Frontier Forces, and every other random opportunist would be hunting him down. If President Morgan was still alive, he'd be hunting him too. Just thinking about it was terrifying. Leo almost felt sorry for the guy. Leo, can you do me a favor? Horace asked suddenly. No, Leo answered decisively. I can make it worth your while. Horace whispered conspiratorially. I've developed a prescription, guaranteed to increase fertility and family blessings. Leo shot him a look of utter disdain. And you call yourself a legitimate doctor? I wouldn't trust you with a paper cut. Thanks, but no thanks. Leo patted Horace on the shoulder. You guys take your time eating. I'm heading out. With that, he grabbed Ethan, and the two stood up to leave without looking back. Hey, we can negotiate. Horace reached out, trying to keep the conversation going, but Leo just waved his hand over his shoulder, signaling goodbye. Horace slumped back into his chair like a deflated balloon. Old Horace, what's the deal? Why do you need Leo's help? If it's that bad, ask Sterling, Silas asked curiously. I mentioned it to Sterling, but even he couldn't guarantee he could help. What is it? Spill it. Silas was getting curious. What kind of problem was too big for Sterling to handle? Horace sighed, hesitating for a long moment before speaking. You remember that apprentice I took him back in the day? After she finished her training, she came to the frontier. She's right here in Easton. Your apprentice. That little girl. Silas remembered. Horace did have a student. A scruffy little girl with a stubborn streak a mile wide. He hadn't seen her in years. Yeah, don't talk about you guys. Even I haven't seen her in ages. Horace continued. With the current situation, Easton is going to turn upside down sooner or later. I'm afraid Leo is going to cause chaos in the city. I asked Sterling if he could look out for her, but Sterling said if Leo really starts tearing up Easton, he can't guarantee she won't get caught in the crossfire. He said it's best to discuss it with Leo directly. So I want to talk to Leo about it just now, but the guy is stubborn as a mule. Horace sighed again, scratching his head in frustration. He had no wife or kids. Aside from Sterling and the others, that little apprentice was his only tie to this world. And he knew she was obstinate and had a bad temper. The probability was small, but if she clashed with Leo, that would be trouble. Forget it. They probably won't cross paths anyway. You're worrying over nothing, Silas comforted him. Don't stress. Maybe nothing will happen. It's fine. In a couple of days, let's go see the girl together. Haven't seen her in so long. Wonder if she's grown any taller. Horace glanced at him and nodded slowly. At this point, that was the only way to comfort himself. Meanwhile, inside the dean's office at the Easton Military Hospital. Hannah, did you cause trouble for me again? Director Sullivan sat in his chair, his trembling finger pointing at the girl in front of him, clearly furious. Smack! He slammed a stack of letters onto the desk and glared at Hannah. Look at this yourself. In 1 week, do you know how many complaint letters I've received about you? I'm begging you. Can you please give me a break? Hannah, wearing a white coat with her hands stuffed in her pockets, looked at the stack of letters with zero emotion on her face. Seeing her expression, Director Sullivan sighed internally. The girl was pretty, but she never smiled. She walked around with a face like a zombie all day, and her temper was stubborn. Anything else, Director Sullivan? Hannah asked. If not, I'm leaving. I have patients waiting. Sullivan took a deep breath. I can tank the other complaints for you, but there's one thing I can't handle. 2 days ago, a patient named Tanner King came to your department. Do you remember him? Hannah thought for a moment, then nodded. I remember. Small cut on his hand, barely bleeding. He tried to cut the line, screaming for emergency treatment. I told him to get lost. Is there a problem? Sullivan smiled bitterly. That Tanner King is a famous relationship household in Easton. His family spent big money to send him here to get some gold plating on his resume. Not just him, there are a few other second-generation rich kids in his circle. Once you offended him, he targeted you. He doesn't dare do anything openly, but he might try some dirty tricks in the dark. Once these entitled brats start pestering you, it never ends. If you ask me, just apologize to him and be done with it. Hearing this, Hannah asked just as nonchalantly as before. Anything else? If not, I'm leaving. With that, she turned and left to continue her work. Along the way, every doctor and nurse who saw Hannah wore a cold expression. No one greeted her. In this hospital, everyone had isolated this girl, even though her medical skills were the best in the building. Mother of, where did those two brats go? On a certain street, Instructor Slater's anxious roar echoed. Just moments ago, General White had called asking for Leo's whereabouts. Slater lied and said he sent Leo out for a run. General White exploded immediately. Slater, I don't care what you do. Find Leo Evans now. Otherwise, wash your neck and get ready to be buried with him. That sentence terrified Slater. His mouth twitched as he asked, Is it really that serious, General? He's just a recruit. Recruit. General White scoffed. Let me tell you, if Leo goes missing, it's not just me. High Commander Sky will be coming for your head. General White hung up immediately. Realizing the severity of the situation, cold sweat broke out on Slater's forehead. Good Lord, who exactly was this Leo Evans? He had ties to William Sky. Slater immediately dumped Bill Zane and the others onto his subordinates and ran out to find Leo himself. But something even more breakdown-inducing happened. He drove around Easton for 2 whole hours and didn't see even a shadow of Leo. Where were they? 2 living, breathing humans gone? Just then, another call came in. Slater looked at the caller ID and his scalp went numb. High Commander William Sky, the big boss himself calling. Hello, Commander. Slater answered with a tremble. On the other end, William Sky's tone was flat. Where is he? Still haven't found him. Is it that you haven't found him yet? Or that you can't find him? Can't find him. On the other end, William Sky sighed, his voice low. Slater, it hasn't even been half a day since I sent him to you. In such a short time, you managed to lose a living person, and it had to be Leo Evans. I swear I want to drag you out and execute you by firing squad for an hour. Hearing William Sky's rage, Slater panicked. He asked carefully, Commander, who exactly is this Leo guy? I'll tell you who he is later. Right now, all you need to know is that if he's lost, the entire city of Easton goes on lockdown. The thing William Skye feared most had happened. Given Leo's track record, William had been worried sick since Leo arrived in Easton. Now, something worse than his worries had occurred. Leo came to Easton and vanished. William Skye hung up, thinking about it, and actually laughed out of anger. To make matters worse, the surveillance system had been attacked. Although the attacker didn't take full control, tracking Leo was now impossible. William didn't need to think hard to know this was the work of Leo's crew. Ruthless, William shook his head and cursed. Starting these maneuvers the second he steps onto someone else's turf. This kid is aggressive. Beside him, General White sat down and sighed. I think I know why they say he's an unstable factor. William Skye was ready to go all in and cooperate with Leo. And the guy vanished. Where was William supposed to go to cry about this? With this kid's behavior, you want me to bet everything on him? William spread his hands, looking at White. I said he was unreliable, but you insisted I take the gamble. Now look, we can't even find him. If you ask me, you shouldn't have let him come to Easton. General White took a deep breath. Don't panic yet. The guy looks reckless, but he knows his limits when he acts. Knows his limits? Looking at his past deeds, he doesn't look like someone who knows limits. Don't look at the surface, look at the details. Details? The person is gone. Where the hell am I supposed to find details? Why are you yelling at me? General White flared up. I didn't lose him. Will yelling solve anything? Look at you, all frantic. Is this how a high commander behaves? William Skye was stunned by the scolding, then laughed angrily. He pointed at White. Okay, General White, you dare yell at me now? Seeing this, White thought, oh, he's starting again. But before he could speak, William waved his hand. Fine, it's all my fault. I quit being high commander, okay. William said sarcastically. I'm going home to pack my bags and become a farmer. Easton, the frontier, whoever wants to run it can run it. I quit. I spend all day cleaning up your messes and wiping your asses, and now I get yelled at by you people. Wait until the day no one's running Easton and the frontier collapses. Then I'll see what you do, General White. General White looked at him with a headache. Every time, the guy always threatened to quit. But White had to admit, Easton and the frontier really couldn't function without William Skye. Meanwhile, the object of their frantic search, Leo Evans, was eating Inferno burritos with Ethan Sierra at a roadside stall. TSK, the flavor of these frontier burritos is lacking. Leo took a bite, shook his head, and gave a negative review. Ethan didn't think there was much difference. It was all just burrito to him. The two had arrived at a famous snack street in Easton, eating and strolling. Walking toward them were several men in military uniforms, but their demeanor was less like soldiers and more like street thugs. Tanner, is that thing about the female doctor you mentioned last time true? Would I lie to you? She's gorgeous, great class. The kind you don't meet outside. Then why don't you pursue her? If Tanner King makes a move, is there any girl you can't get? You guys don't know. That girl has a huge temper. I'll find a chance to go back to the hospital later. Tanner laughed. Just watch. Within a week, I'll definitely bag her. Someone beside him teased. But I heard she kicked you out last time? The group burst into laughter, mocking Tanner. Tanner's face turned slightly red, and he waved his hand dismissively. Stop laughing. However, his wave perfectly knocked into the Inferno burrito in Leo's hand. Splat. The sound of the burrito hitting the ground was clear. Leo stared blankly at his empty hand. Then, he slowly looked up at Tanner. The air instantly went silent. Tanner looked at the burrito on the ground, then at Leo. Brother, watch where you're walking. Why are you so close to me? You almost bumped into me. TSK, got sauce all over my hand. I'll let it slide this time, but be careful next time. Beside him, Ethan Sierra went full spectator mode. He stood far away, eating his burrito, waiting for the show. These morons. If they just apologized immediately and bought Leo another burrito, nothing would have happened. But Tanner chose the worst possible option. Sure enough, upon hearing Tanner's words, an apologetic look appeared on Leo's face. That won't do. I got your hand dirty. If we just let it go, I'd feel terrible. Hearing Leo, Tanner was surprised. He didn't expect this pretty boy to be so sensible. Just as he was about to praise him, he heard Leo speak softly. How about this? I'll just remove your hand for you. Saves you the trouble of washing it. Crack. As soon as the words fell, a crisp sound echoed. Before Tanner could react, a sharp pain shot through his arm. He realized then that his arm was broken. Art! Tanner let out a blood-curdling scream. His friends turned pale with shock. Brat, you dare attack us. Damn it, get him. He dares to hit us right to our faces. Do you think we're invisible? He hit my brother, break his arms and legs today. The group rushed forward, some even pulling out knives, intending to make Leo bleed. Ethan watched calmly. Seeing the mini pocket knife, he almost laughed. What was that for? Trimming toenails? Ugh, can't think like that while eating. Ethan quickly shook his head, tossing the unappetizing thought out of his mind. Smack, smack, smack. The sound of slaps rang out continuously. Everyone who rushed at Leo was slapped in the face without exception. It was just a slap, but the force was heavy, enough to turn them into swollen pigs. In the time it took Ethan to eat 2 bites of his burrito, the group's faces had swollen up and they were groaning on the ground like piglets. Seeing this, Tanner realized they had run into a hard target. The commotion attracted the attention of the surrounding crowd. Many people saw Leo's face and their expressions changed. Hey, look at that guy. Is that the one from the rumors? Holy crap, it looks like him. But didn't they say he was with a vulture and got arrested? I don't know. Did he escape? Should we report it? No need. They're fighting in the street. The inspection unit will be here any second. Tanner and his crew are always causing trouble. They messed with a living demon this time. The crowd buzzed. Easton wasn't just filled with soldiers. There were many families and people from surrounding towns. They all watched the drama unfold. Many, seeing Tanner getting beaten, secretly applauded. Make way. Just then, a commanding voice rang out, accompanied by the sound of disciplined footsteps. A fully armed squad was slowly marching toward them. Look, the inspection unit is here. Of course. If there's a disturbance in Easton, the inspection unit arrives instantly. Troublemakers never end up well. I heard anyone taken away by the inspection unit comes out a changed person. Don't know if it's true. When Ethan saw the leader of the inspection unit, his expression froze slightly, and the corner of his mouth twitched. Leo turned around, saw the newcomer, and paused as well. Whoa, what a coincidence, Inspector White. Leo looked at Landon White, slightly amused. We just parted ways, didn't think we'd meet again so soon. Landon White's face looked like he had eaten something foul. It couldn't look any worse. As an inspector, the unit was his to command. He was just inspecting their work nearby when he heard about the disturbance. Landon swore, if he had known Leo was here, if he had come, he would be a dog. Inspector White, you have to get justice for me. Tanner King saw Landon like he was seeing a savior. He hit people in the street and dislocated my arm. He's lawless. He has no respect for Easton's rules. He cradled his arm and ran to Landon, crying through snot and tears. My brothers and I were just out for a stroll. Who knew this guy would suddenly crash into me, claim I knocked over his burrito? I said I'd pay him back, but he attacked without a word. Not only did he break my arm, he beat up my friends. Inspector White, you must decide this for me. If you don't punish this kind of guy, who can we trust in Easton? Who can the civilians trust? With tyrants like this around, who dares to go outside? Tanner righteously accused Leo of various atrocities. His words were tearful and highly infectious. He was just short of shouting a poetic plea for justice. Ethan watched, stunned. Was this guy possessed by Leo? His acting skills were off the charts. If you close your eyes and just listened, it sounded exactly like something Leo would say. Hearing Tanner's words, Landon frowned and looked at Leo. Is what he said true? False, Leo said nonchalantly. He dislocated his own arm. Then his brothers went crazy and started smashing their heads against my hands. I couldn't stop them. By the way, they made my hands numb. Can I sue them for intentional injury? At this, Tanner whipped his head around, staring at Leo in disbelief. You want to sue me? Intentional injury? Me? Intentionally injuring you? Leo Evans, what do you take Easton's rules for? Landon's voice was low. This isn't a place where your nonsense can turn black into white. Heh. Leo laughed suddenly. What is black? What is white? Are black and white defined by you? Are good and evil defined by you? Is the fairness of Easton defined by you? Leo stared intensely at Landon, mocking him. Well, Inspector White, why don't you judge? I'm really curious. Where's the line in your eyes? In your hearts, can you really achieve? Half black, half white. Leo's words stunned everyone present. This guy dared to go head-to-head with Landon White? Does he not know how much power the inspection unit has? This kid is done for. When was the last time someone dared to go against the inspection unit? Brother, don't joke. I've been in Easton for a long time. Never seen anyone like this. First time today. That means you haven't been here long enough. Years ago, someone dared to challenge the inspection unit and walked away scot-free. Holy crap, really? Tell me more. I don't know the details, but I heard that guy was fierce. The crowd whispered. In their eyes, Leo was definitely screwed. Landon took a deep breath. Leo, no matter what, you have to come with me. Leo stood still, raising an eyebrow. And if I don't? The tension between them was palpable. At this moment, Tanner looked back and forth between the two. The pain in his arm was turning his face pale. Can I go to the hospital first? Tanner asked, sweating. Inspector White, my arm hurts bad. Can you arrange for someone to send me to the hospital? Landon turned to look at him, saying nothing. Tanner felt immense pressure from his gaze. He swallowed hard. You carry on? I can endure it. Landon looked back at Leo, speaking word by word. Leo Evans, I'll ask you one more time. Are you sure you want to do this? I should be asking you that, Leo retorted. Inspector White, you should know the consequences of fighting me here, right? If we really fight, I won't hold back. These people you brought can't stop me. Landon lowered his eyes, speaking softly. I know, but I have to do this. If he let Leo go just like that, the inspection unit's authority and Easton's rules would become a joke. Leo knew his thoughts and sneered. See? From beginning to end, your so-called black and white doesn't matter. What you care about are Easton's rules, the eyes of the people around you, and the inspection unit's face. And that second-generation rich kid acting like a victim? You didn't even look at him twice. Leo looked genuinely confused. It's really contradictory. If you really think he's a victim, why don't you care about him? If you think he's not a victim, why fight me? Landon fell silent, unsure how to answer. In his heart, he knew what kind of trash Tanner and his crew were. But no matter what, fighting in the street was a violation. In Easton, you get punished. Leo, when it comes to the art of language, I can't beat you. Landon shook his head. Ask you one last time. Are you coming? Leo stood his ground. No. Landon nodded. He guessed Leo would say that. He waved his hand. Get him. Take him by force. Wait. Suddenly, a roar interrupted Landon. Who now? Everyone turned to look. In the distance, Instructor Slater was running frantically toward them. Landon White, you stop right there. Slater yelled as he ran. You dare touch a hair on that kid's head? I'll fight you to the death. This wasn't a joke. If something happened to Leo, Slater was genuinely afraid General White and William Skye would kill him. Seeing the sprinting Slater, Landon's mouth twitched. Where did you pop out from? You're a special operative, sure, but my rank as inspector is equal to yours. You dare scream at me. Landon felt he shouldn't have checked the almanac before going out today. Why was he so unlucky? He hated trouble. Yet in this position, all he encountered was trouble. Instructor Slater? Why are you here? Ethan immediately stuffed the rest of his burrito into his mouth and tossed the wrapper in the trash. Acting like nothing happened, Slater ran up to them, glaring. You two, running laps brought you all the way here. I searched the entire perimeter like a madman, and you two are here eating. No, we didn't eat. Ethan played dumb. You told us to run around Easton. You didn't say the outer perimeter. I didn't say the snack street either. Slater roared. Then he looked at Leo and sighed in massive relief. Thank God, found the kid. He wasn't lost. He could report back. Fine, you two come back with me. I really don't dare let you out. Slater swore that from today on, these two had to be in his line of sight every second. Otherwise, his heart couldn't take it. He prepared to take them back to the training ground. Stop. Landon blocked them. Slater, you take them without a word? What's the meaning of this? Meaning? Slater's eyes widened. My own soldiers, I can't take them back for training? Landon, with a cold face, recounted what just happened. Slater listened, then turned to Leo. You hit them. Nope. Leo shook his head. Tell the truth. Even if you did, I'll protect you. Slater said seriously. Really wasn't me. Leo said earnestly. I can swear. Slater turned to Landon. See? He said he didn't hit them. Why are you trying to take him? Your inspection unit isn't exactly a resort. Last time I went, didn't even get a cup of tea. If you ask me, give me some face. Let's drop this. Landon's eye twitched. Drop it? I just spent all this time building up the atmosphere, and you say drop it? Slater saw this and knew he had to give Landon an out. Don't worry, these two little brats. I'll punish them when we get back. No need for the inspection unit. I'll punish them personally, educate them properly. Right, you two? Slater looked back at them. Yes, we will humbly accept the punishment. Leo and Ethan nodded like chickens pecking rice. Slater nodded in satisfaction and smiled at Landon. See? Their attitude is pretty good, right? Landon stared death at Slater. After a long while, he finally spoke. 2 men, take the injured to the hospital. The rest, fall out. Seeing Landon White lead his men away, Slater breathed a sigh of relief. Then he waved at the onlookers. Show's over, scatter. Stop gathering around. Seeing the excitement die down, the crowd dispersed. As Tanner and his crew left, they glared viciously at Leo, clearly planning revenge. You two, get in the car. Slater pointed. Leo and Ethan exchanged a glance and obediently got into Slater's vehicle. Once they were in, Slater walked a bit away and called William Sky. "Hello, Commander Sky. I have a report." "What?" "Picked out your method of death." William's opening line made Slater shiver. The High Commander wouldn't really kill him, right? I found Leo." "Found him?" "Yes, just now." Slater briefly explained what happened. On the other end, William rubbed his temples in frustration. Damn it. If Slater hadn't arrived in time, would Leo have fought Landon's men in the street? He'd been missing for barely any time and almost caused a major incident. "Fine, I know," William instructed. "Keep an eye on him. If you lose him again, find a place to hang yourself." William hung up. Slater's face looked like he'd swallowed a lemon. He looked at his phone and muttered, "General White. Screw you. Said just take care of some recruits. Throws me this huge trouble. William Sky isn't any better either." Slater grumbled. Of course, he didn't dare say this in front of the two inside. "Hang myself? Just you wait. I'll hang myself at your front door." Carrying a grudge, Slater walked back to the car. The moment he opened the door, he froze. His brain short-circuited, because only Ethan Sierra was sitting in the car. "Where is he?" Slater shrieked. "Where did that brat go?" Ethan covered his ears and frowned. "Instructor, why are you yelling so loud?" "He went to buy an Inferno burrito. Since the last burrito barely got 2 bites before being ruined, if Leo didn't buy another one, he wouldn't be able to sleep tonight." Hearing this, Slater felt his blood pressure skyrocket. Just then his phone rang. It was General White. Slater had a bad feeling. Sure enough, White's first sentence almost broke him. "Put Leo on. I have something to say to him." "What's wrong? Didn't you say Leo was found?" Slater glanced at Ethan, then braced himself. "Well, Leo went to buy a burrito. How about I have him call you back later?" Silence on the other end. After a long pause, General White spoke slowly. "So, Leo isn't with you right now?" "That is the case. Lost him again. Can't say that. He'll be back in a bit." At that moment, Ethan said flatly, "Not necessarily. He just said he was going to buy a burrito. He didn't say he'd come back after buying it." That sentence was the straw that broke the camel's back. Slater really wanted to cry. "Ancestor. I really met an ancestor." General White sighed deeply. "Slater, what can I even say to you? Forget it. Explain it to William Sky yourself." White hung up. 2 seconds later, William Sky's call arrived on schedule. Slater answered with trembling hands. "Slater, if you don't want your brain, donate it. Are you keeping the head of yours to count stars at night? Just found him and lost him again. And you have the nerve to report you found him? What use is finding him?" "No, the more I think about it, the angrier I get. Send your location. I'm coming to beat you up right now." "White, don't stop me. I have to kill him today." As soon as the call connected, William Sky's roaring curses flowed endlessly. He sounded like a street thug, causing cold sweat to pour down Slater's forehead. He didn't dare say a word. When William had vented enough, Slater finally wailed, "Commander, the key is you guys didn't tell me that kid was so important. You tell me nothing, then yell at me when something happens. I'm innocent too. If it really doesn't work, let me go out and fight. Let Captain Zhao or Sergeant Wu take my place. Even if I die out there, I feel like it'd be better than this." Hearing this, William got even angrier. "You feel wrong. I gave him to you because I trusted you. I thought you could watch him. Now it seems I was blind. I'm telling you, Slater, you better pray nothing happens to Easton because of Leo, or I'm coming for you first." William hung up, too lazy to talk to Slater anymore. Looking at the disconnected phone, Slater's face fell, filled with grievance and nowhere to vent. Ethan even thoughtfully patted his shoulder to comfort him. "It's okay. You get used to it. We all went through this." Hearing this, Slater wanted to cry even more. He looked at Ethan with teary eyes filled with hope. "You say, will he come back after buying the burrito?" "No," Ethan said decisively. The light in Slater's eyes went out completely. "Instructor Slater, if you ask me, let's just go back." Ethan patted his shoulder. "What does that saying go? Some people, after parting, even in the smallest city, it's hard to meet again. So, I think the probability of you finding Leo is 0. Of course, if you arrange for people to camp at every burrito stall in Easton, there's a sliver of hope you'll catch him. Assuming you can make the burritos taste a bit better." Slater was bewildered. Just how much did that guy love Inferno burritos? Munch, munch, munch. "Ooh, this burrito place is pretty good. Better than the last one." Leo Evans walked along, munching on his burrito, already far away from the previous street. Honestly, Leo didn't run away on purpose. He really just intended to buy a burrito to make up for the ruined one. But while buying it, he had a thought. Go back for what? Special training? At the camp? Please, bro has a system. Bro is the protagonist. Bro has background. All buff stacked. I don't even have to dodge bullets. Why go back to be a recruit? Of course, those were secondary. Mainly, Leo wanted his movements to be more covert. After all, the Vulture organization had deeply infiltrated Easton and the frontier. In such an environment, acting alone suited Leo better. Bump. Just then, a passerby slammed into Leo's shoulder. In the moment of contact, a phone appeared in Leo's hand, like the person had intentionally stuffed it there. Leo frowned and looked back. Hey, stop. The person didn't stop. Instead, they sprinted away. Just as Leo was about to chase, the phone vibrated. Someone calling? Leo stopped, looked at the phone suspiciously, hesitated, then answered. Hello. Hello, Leo Evans. On the other end came a steady, raspy voice. But Leo could tell it wasn't a real voice. It was processed. Who is this? What do you want? Accurately speaking, you guys are looking for me. The voice enunciated clearly. You can call me the Vulture. Leo's pupils shrank slightly, then the corner of his mouth lifted. You say you're the Vulture? How do you prove it? Does proof have meaning? Of course. Otherwise, I could say I'm the Vulture. I could establish an organization, too. Leo sounded increasingly interested. Real versus fake Vulture. That sounds like a good idea. Hearing this, the Vulture actually chuckled softly. Leo, you really are an interesting person. I want to meet you more and more. Really? How about right now? Give me an address. Let's chat face to face. I wouldn't dare. What if you kill me? Look at you talking. Can't there be a little trust between people? With your reputation, who dares trust you? Leo smiled, then quickly dropped it. He said flatly, get to the point. What do you want? Wanted to ask, any interest in joining us? Join you? Aren't you afraid I'll be an undercover agent? Undercover. One more isn't much. One less doesn't matter. The Vulture's voice was indifferent. These days, who doesn't have a few moles under them? Even if you come in as a mole, I welcome you to join. After all, moles, I've turned quite a few myself. It's just that William Skye and the others don't know it. Hearing this, Leo frowned. He realized the opponent wasn't simple. With just one sentence, he reduced the effectiveness of those undercover agents by half. The Vulture's meaning was clear. I know you have moles here. I don't mind, because I have moles there too. And some of your moles have been turned by me. Do you believe it? Whether the Vulture was lying or not, it would make William Skye suspicious. Suspicious that someone really had been turned. But they wouldn't know who. And once suspicion starts, it can't be erased. That way, the intelligence fed back by those moles. Do you trust or not? Smart. Leo sighed. No wonder even Sterling finds you tricky. Sure enough, in this era, the ones who play mind games are the hardest to deal with. The Vulture chuckled lightly. Sterling? I have people around him too. His every move is exposed under my eyelids. Leo raised an eyebrow. Really? Of course. Swear it. Lie to me, and your junk shrinks 10 centimeters. The Vulture froze, then laughed helplessly. Okay. Actually, I was lying. There's no one around him. TSK, your methods are really high-end. Leo felt tired and sighed deeply. Can we be honest? Stop with the intrigue. He found that whether it was the Vulture or Sterling, these guys shared a punchable trait. They liked to speak half-truths. Especially Sterling, always guess. No different from the Vulture. These people, their hearts were too dirty. Leo felt that as a person with such a pure soul, after contact with them, he was getting polluted, led astray by them. So your choice. The Vulture asked. You have two choices right now. Stand with William Skye, or come to me. I can tell you directly, William Skye has no chance of winning. You might as well come to the Vulture. Do something big with us. Leo was speechless. Were you in a pyramid scheme before? What exactly do you see in me? Why do you insist on me joining? The mithril pistol isn't even on me. You still want me? The Vulture spoke slowly. In my eyes, your value far exceeds the North Point Horde. Swear it. Leo, stop playing. Besides gaslighting, what can you do? Leo said disdainfully. Lil Vulture, if you aren't sincere, it's hard for me to communicate with you. The Vulture was silent for a moment, then spoke. Regardless, my sincerity in recruiting you is real. Leo, take your time to consider. In 3 days, I'll call you again. Hope by then, you can give me an answer. Or rather, a stance. The Vulture's door won't be open for you forever. Beep, beep, beep. Before the Vulture finished, Leo hung up directly. So much nonsense. Leo looked at the phone and grumbled. Giving me 3 days? Who does he think he is? Yap for half a day, doesn't even dare to swear, and has the nerve to say he's sincere. If the Vulture is like this, they're finished sooner or later. I'd have to be brain damaged to work with you. With that, Leo flicked his wrist. The phone arced perfectly through the air, clunk, and landed precisely in a trash can. Beep, beep, beep. In a dimly lit room, the Vulture sat on a sofa, listening to the disconnect tone, slightly stunned. Then he sighed slowly. Really? Hanging up before I finish speaking? Young people these days possess less and less manners. Beside him, Vulture 1 asked curiously, "What did he say?" He refused. "Yeah." The Vulture nodded. That was expected, though his reaction exceeded my expectations. Looking at the situation now, the identity of Seven Tails has likely been taken by Leo Evans. Nine Tails is dead. Eight Tails fell for Sterling's trap and was taken by General White. Odds are grim. The Vulture shook his head, sounding somewhat sentimental. Our existence has only been exposed for a short time, yet we've suffered such losses. This has never happened before. Vulture 1 listened with a solemn nod. In his memory, the organization had never lost three tails at once. Although they could promote new tails from below, there was a threshold. The Vulture would rather leave the seat empty than let garbage become a tail. Quality over quantity. That was the Vulture's hiring policy. The Vulture stood up slowly and walked to a desk. On the desk, calligraphy brushes, ink, paper, and an inkstone were neatly arranged, giving off an air of scholarly elegance. The Vulture picked up a brush, paused, and began writing on the paper. Moments later, he put down the brush and beckoned Vulture 1 over. Vulture 1 stood beside him, looking at the characters on the paper. 5 names were listed. "These 5 people are crucial," the Vulture said softly. "Their lives concern our survival. On our path forward, these 5 are huge obstacles. From now on, at any cost, eliminate them." "Understood." Vulture 1 took a deep breath. The difficulty isn't small, because among those 5 names, ranked first was Leo Evans, the ruthless character who blew up Nine Tails along with a military camp. Dealing with him alone was tricky enough. And the other 4? Vulture 1's gaze moved down. Sterling, General White, High Commander William Sky, and Henry Yen. Henry Yen. Vulture 1 frowned. "I haven't heard of this person. Some big shot in the frontier." "Not a big shot." The Vulture shook his head and smiled. "On the contrary, a young man like Leo." "Like Leo? Does he have something special?" "His teacher was Dr. Quentin Marks." The Vulture's calm statement made Vulture 1's pupils shake violently. "Quentin Marks? That lunatic actually has a student?" Vulture 1 was shocked. Even in their eyes, Dr. Marks was a madman. When Marks proposed the concept of a panacea to the world, everyone thought he was insane. One man trying to cure all diseases. He spent decades and created the dangerous gene serum. Honestly, he was a character. I admired him quite a bit, the Vulture laughed. When he created the gene serum, I planned to have him join the organization. Pity, he was too paranoid and too honest. Put plainly, he was a goody two-shoes. He wouldn't walk with us. Vulture 1 nodded thoughtfully, then asked, "So what threat does his student pose to us?" "This is something I discovered recently." The Vulture sounded sentimental. Back in NYC, President Joyce and David Evans worked together to hide Henry Yen, minimizing his presence. Because that Henry Yen not only inherited Mark's legacy, he achieved something Marx never did. Hearing this, Vulture 1 froze, then realized with a start. "Boss, you mean?" "Correct." The Vulture nodded, his tone grave. "Even I couldn't believe it when I saw the intel. The panacea, he actually created a glimmer of it." The Vulture laughed suddenly. "It's funny. Decades ago, besides Sterling, no one supported Quentin Marks. Decades later, almost everyone is protecting his student. President Joyce, David Evans, Director Jensen." The Vulture rattled off several names, sighing. "These people guarding NYC are actually guarding Henry Yen. I suspect some of them want to make up for their debt to Quentin Marks through Henry. Together, these people were not to be trifled with." The Vulture paused, then continued, "Quentin Marks is dead, but what he left behind remains. Those things, if they cannot be used by us, they must be destroyed. Understand?" Vulture 1 frowned. "But with those people protecting Henry Yen, our chances of winning a fight are slim." Only now did Vulture 1 realize the weight of this list. 5 names. Simple ink on paper. But killing any one of them would come at a colossal cost. The Vulture tapped the desk gently. After a hesitation, he spoke. "Recall all tails and members lurking abroad. Concentrate all manpower in the country. Also have all agents in NYC stand by. Act on my command when the time comes." The Vulture stared at the names, his eyes flashing with a ruthless light. "These 5 people. I want to eliminate at least 3 in one go." Vulture 1's body trembled slightly. In a trance, he recalled hearing similar words years ago. That time, it was the Vulture's first full-scale strike, creating the blood-soaked Manhattan incident. Now, years later, the organization was far stronger. If they moved, it would likely be even more violent than that time. I'll go prepare. I'll summon all dispersed personnel back. Vulture 1 turned and left the room. After the door clicked shut, the vulture slowly reached out, tracing the dried ink on the paper. Chaos has never been an abyss. The vulture whispered. Chaos is a ladder for all interests. The survivors after chaos are the ones who profit, and they will be the creators of the rules. While William Sky and the others frantically searched for Leo, Leo stood alone in a deserted alleyway. Leaning against the wall, he gnawed on a baked biscuit he'd just bought from a roadside vendor. He had bought practically every Easton specialty he saw along the way to try. Tooey, Leo spat, looking at the biscuit with disgust. They have a nerve to call this the best biscuit in Easton. Compressed energy bars taste better than this. Isn't this just bullying honest people? Looking at the biscuit in his hand, Leo lost his appetite. No, next time I have to trick Ethan into eating this. Can't be the only one suffering. Leo shook his head, then looked down at the white cat at his feet. Spike was crouching there, gnawing wildly on a tuna treat, ignoring everything else. Just moments ago, Spike had infiltrated Easton's cat society, opened up all networking channels, gathered all intel on Easton, and reported back to Leo. Hey, stupid cat, want a biscuit? Leo tossed the biscuit to Spike. Can't waste food. You finish it for me. Spike heard this, looked up at the biscuit, and sniffed it. Meow. Gross. Tisk, can it be worse than the rainbow chicken wings Ava made? Leo coaxed. You ate that stuff. This is a piece of cake for you. If not, go share it with the sewer rats. Open up Easton's rodent social network too. Hearing this, Spike was confused. Me, a dignified cat, delivering food to rats? How would I survive in cat society after that? Spike firmly refused this disgraceful behavior. Whatever, just get rid of it for me. Leo dropped the biscuit and walked out of the alley. He looked around, whispering, let me think, where should I start? He came to the frontier for 2 reasons. 1, get famous and complete the system's ultimate mission. 2, kill the vulture so they'd stop bothering him. To complete the mission, can't rely entirely on Old Man White and the others. I have to stir up some trouble myself. Thinking of this, Leo looked north. That was the other exit of Easton. Beyond that gate lay the frontier. After a moment of thought, Leo made a decision. Go grind the leaderboard first. Get rank 1. The leaderboard he referred to was the infamous Frontier Blacklist. Sergeant Mad Dog Wu, Captain Invincible Zhao, and the others were all on it. That was why many abroad knew their names. To speed up progress, grinding the leaderboard was undoubtedly the best way. Any gamer knew that in any game, the rank 1 Big Brother was always the most dazzling existence. And Leo didn't just want rank 1 in China. System, if I use a fake identity to gain fame, does it count toward the progress bar? The moment Leo asked, the long-absent System voice finally rang out. Sure, as long as you finish the mission quick, anything goes. Hearing this, Leo raised an eyebrow. What was up with the System? Even the System was starting to act crazy these days, but regardless, since the System gave the green light, no problem. A wicked smile appeared on Leo's lips. He slowly pulled out the Seven Tails mask from his pocket, laughing sinisterly. Hey, hiv. Lil Vulture, didn't you want Bro to join your organization? Just wait. Bro is about to send you a big gift. I'll use the Seven Tails identity to grind a worldwide rank 1 for you. From now on, I, Seven Tails, am your Vulture organization's top dog. That's right, Leo decided to use the Seven Tails identity, and not just for the domestic rankings. He was going to sweep every country's list. He was wearing a mask. Who cared what nationality he was? With that thought, Leo strode decisively toward the north, to the frontier, to cause trouble. William Sky and the others would never have guessed that Leo, having just arrived in Easton, would run straight for the frontier. Everyone assumed Leo was still in Easton, just in disguise, which was why they couldn't find him. It made William Sky lose sleep all night, and the Easton Armory doubled its guard daily, never daring to relax. Inside the Easton Hospital, after Tanner King and his crew arrived, they started yelling and screaming, just like they acted in front of Landon White. 2 completely different faces. Where's the doctor? Hurry up and treat us. Yeah. Can't you see how badly injured we are? Do you know who we are? Delay our treatment. Can you handle the consequences if something happens? The second-generation rich kids, faces swollen like pigs, had voices louder than anyone. They seemed blind to the no loud noise signs on the wall. A nurse braced herself and stepped forward to calm them. Gentlemen, many wounded arrived from the frontier today, mostly serious cases. Our doctors are doing their best to save them. I see your injuries aren't critical. Please endure for a moment. Once a doctor is free, we will arrange treatment immediately. Please understand, don't shout. This is a hospital. The nurse persuaded them gently. However, hearing this, Tanner's tone turned dark. Call your director Sullivan over. I have nothing to say to you. The nurse was startled. Director Sullivan has very important matters today. Matters? Tanner laughed angrily, emphasizing every word. Fine. He's busy? We'll wait. He stepped back slowly, enduring the pain in his arm, and sat back in the chair. Simultaneously, he barked at the others. Shut up. Didn't you hear her? No loud noise. The others shut their mouths instantly. Then, Tanner stared intensely at the nurse. Is this okay? The nurse swallowed hard. Thank you for your cooperation. You're welcome. Tanner's eyes were shadowed. He knew making trouble inside the hospital wouldn't benefit them. But outside the hospital, they had plenty of ways to terrorize these doctors and nurses. Tanner stared at the nurse's face, burning her features into his memory. He decided that once he left, he would find a chance to teach this little nurse a profound lesson. Just then, a figure walked in slowly and asked the nurse, Hello, may I ask where Director Sullivan's office is? May I ask who you are? I have an appointment with him today. Hearing this, the nurse nodded immediately. Oh, it's you. The director told me. Follow me, I'll take you to him. Thanks. Seeing this, a nameless fire rose in Tanner's heart. I can't even see the director, but this random guy walks in and gets taken straight there? Why? Wait. Stop right there. Tanner shouted suddenly. The nurse jumped. The man beside her paused, slowly turned around, and looked at Tanner calmly. Are you telling me to stop? Sterling asked slowly. Yeah, you. Tanner glared at Sterling angrily. You want to see Director Sullivan? Did you check your status first? I can't even see him. Why should you? Beside him, the little nurse was frantic. This gentleman has an appointment with the director. Don't give me that useless crap. Tanner roared. That guy Sullivan has time for others, but no time for me. Did he forget my dad invested a lot of dirty money in this hospital? It was precisely because his father invested money that he was qualified to come to Easton for resume plating. Suffering such indignity in this hospital, he couldn't tolerate it. At that moment, Sterling's brow slowly furrowed. Easton, does it accept any trash now? William Skye is really regressing the older he gets. These two calm sentences stunned everyone present. Their first reaction, he dares call Tanner trash? Second reaction, he dares scold the high commander too? Tanner, something's wrong. A sharp-eyed lackey ran up and whispered in Tanner's ear. Look at his demeanor. He dares to scold the commander. Could he be some big shot? Hearing this, Tanner sensed something was off too. He had acted on impulse, but calming down now, he realized the anomaly. Suddenly, rapid footsteps sounded from upstairs. Everyone looked up to see Director Sullivan rushing down the stairs. Another nurse, seeing the situation go south, had called him earlier. Hearing Sterling was in a conflict, Sullivan sprinted out of his office. Tanner King, what are you doing? Seeing Tanner, Sullivan roared immediately. How many times have I warned you? This is a hospital. You think because your dad threw some stinking money around, I have to serve you hand and foot? If you want treatment, get in line. If not, get out. Spoiled rotten. Sullivan was ready to keep cursing when the little nurse poked his arm. He turned to see her pointing at the 6 big words on the wall. And oh, loud noise. Sullivan blushed. Sorry, lost my composure. You really haven't changed a bit, Sterling said softly, watching Sullivan. Director Sullivan, consider yourself lucky it's me today, not Horace. If he knew his hospital looked like this, he'd smash the place. Hearing this, Sullivan had a foreboding feeling. That guy came to Easton too? Yeah, probably come looking for you in a couple of days. No. Why didn't you guys warn me ahead of time? Why? You want to prepare some formalities? Sterling laughed. Let's go. To your office. The thing you asked me to do, I've handled it. Really? Sullivan looked pleasantly surprised. That's great. Come, I have good tea. The two walked upstairs just like that, leaving Tanner and his crew staring blankly. Tanner's eyes were wide, clearly in disbelief. That Sullivan dared to scold him like that in public. He had never suffered such grievance growing up. Tanner, we're not getting treated, someone shouted with backbone. We won't take this crap. Let's go. Hearing this, Tanner kicked the guy. Damn it, you don't need treatment. Where are you hurt? You all look swollen like pigs, look serious but heals in days. My arm is dislocated. Am I the same as you? Just then, a nurse ran over. Dr. Hannah Kane is available now. Do you still want treatment? The group looked at Tanner, waiting for him to say no so they could leave. Treat. Definitely treat. Hearing Hannah Kane, Tanner's eyes lit up. He had wanted a chance to contact that Ice Queen doctor. Wasn't this the opportunity? He didn't even need to fake an illness. He was actually hurt. Lead the way. Tanner immediately followed the nurse toward Hannah's department. Soon, he saw Hannah sitting in her chair. Damn, this girl is actually pretty. Seeing Hannah again, Tanner swore internally to conquer this beauty. Make the brothers outside jealous to death. Dr. Kane. Haha. We meet again. Tanner sat down with a goofy smile. Say, isn't there fate between us? Hannah looked up, glanced at him, and said flatly, MMH. I hope to see you more often too. Hearing this, Tanner's heart blossomed. See, my charm conquered the Ice Queen. However, Hannah's next sentence froze his smile. Preferably in the ICU, or the operating room. Seeing you in those two places would make me very happy. Tanner's eye twitched. Dr. Kane, you love to joke, huh? Let's not waste time. What's the problem? My arm got dislocated. Just an arm. Hannah's tone clearly held a trace of regret. Obviously, she felt Tanner wasn't injured enough. She tapped on her keyboard, then said casually, prepare for amputation. Okay, I'll listen to Dr. Kane. Wait, what? Tanner bolted up. Amputation? Is it that serious? I remember for this you just reset it and put on a cast or something. Hannah nodded. That recovery period is long. Efficiency is slow, still better than amputation. I personally think amputation is better, but the choice is yours. I definitely choose not to amputate. Fine. Hannah sounded disappointed. Then I respect the patient's wishes. Cast it is, here, take this slip, pay the fee, get an x-ray, find an orthopedist to reset it and cast it. Aren't you treating me? Unexpectedly, Hannah shut down her computer. I'm off duty. Because of the wounded from the frontier, she had already worked 3 hours overtime. Now that things had calmed down, she needed rest. Easton Hospital, Director Sullivan's office. Sterling took a sip of tea and looked at Sullivan. Getting used to life in Easton. Used to it or not, what can I do? Sullivan spread his hands helplessly. Take it day by day. Can't go back to NYC anyway. I'm content having a place to stay. This hospital wasn't mine to begin with. When Horace wants to come back, I'll return the position to him. Sterling smiled and shook his head. That guy probably won't come back. If you hand the hospital to his apprentice, that's more likely. You mean Hannah? Forget it. Give the hospital to her. Something will happen sooner or later. Sullivan started complaining. When you guys dumped that girl on me, I thought she was well behaved. Now looking back, you guys ganged up to scam me. Sterling laughed. What? The little girl causing trouble. More than trouble. Sullivan pointed at a cabinet. See that cabinet? Full of complaint letters. All about her. Sterling glanced at it, expression unchanging. Thought it was something big. Just complaints. He sipped his tea nonchalantly. Compared to hospitals outside, yours is doing fine. Complaints are normal for hospitals. At least you don't have principled issues here. Go look at the hospitals outside. Compared to their problems, I think you could hang a benevolent healer sign at the door. Sullivan's mouth twitched. True, but was his place the same as other hospitals? This was Easton, the fortress of the frontier. If his hospital dared have those problems, someone would chop his head off in minutes. Stop talking about that. Since you came to Easton, that thing I asked you to do. Sullivan looked at Sterling with hope. Sterling looked at him and sighed. Do you know that gadget of yours almost caused irreversible consequences? Hearing this, Sullivan swallowed hard. No way. If it was as he thought, dying 10,000 times wouldn't be enough to atone for those sins. Scared now, Sterling glanced at him. Relax. I found the device for you. It's under my guard. Should be no more accidents. Hearing this, Sullivan exhaled heavily, collapsing onto the sofa, staring at the ceiling. He mumbled, found it is good, found it is good. Then he asked, where did you find it? I searched all over NYC and found no trace. Sterling drank his tea slowly and uttered 2 words. Viridian. Viridian? How was it there? The person who stole your device was Leland Vance, Sterling said softly. He stole it, modified it into an instrument capable of triggering earthquakes, and almost wiped Viridian off the map. Leland Vance? That bastard. Sullivan's face changed, fist clenching. Damn it. He better never let me meet him, or I'll kill him. Sterling smiled, draining his cup. Then he stood up. All right, came to tell you this, but mainly to see Hannah. Haven't seen her in years. Wonder if she remembers me. Sullivan rolled his eyes. If she wasn't here, you wouldn't even think to visit me if you passed by. What, you got 1 foot in the grave? Need people visiting you daily? Sterling said dryly. Don't curse me. I want to live a few more decades. Talking, the two left the room, took the elevator, and headed to Hannah's department. When they arrived, the door was shut tight. What's the situation? Sullivan was dumbfounded. He grabbed a passing nurse. Where's Dr. Kane? Off duty, the nurse said matter-of-factly. She left a while ago. You needed her, Director? Off duty? Sullivan froze, checked his watch. TSK, too busy, forgot the time. Indeed, she should have left long ago. Sterling exhaled a long breath. Looks like bad timing. Forget it. Since she's not here, I'm going. Sterling waved. Horace and the others should be here in a couple of days. Handle it yourself. With that, he turned and left, no hesitation. Hey, Sullivan was speechless. What kind of person is this? Old friends for years, and our friendship isn't worth you staying a bit longer? Director, who was that? The little nurse asked curiously. Is he Dr. Kane's family? Sullivan glared at her. Are you bored? Why asking so many questions? Just then, a blood-curdling scream echoed. Arg! Sullivan jumped. What's happening? Oh, a patient in orthopedics got his arm dislocated. Resetting it now, the nurse explained, slightly sympathetic. Sounds like it hurts a lot. Hearing this, Sullivan guessed it was Tanner King. He shook his head and sighed emotionally. A healer's heart is a parent's heart. Hearing them in such pain, I feel bad too. The nurse rolled her eyes at Sullivan. Director, when you say that, can you wipe the smile off your face? Huh? Cough. Is it that obvious? Sullivan quickly retracted his smile and patted the nurse's shoulder. Work hard. I'll promote you and give you a raise later. Painting a quick pie in the sky, Sullivan walked away with his hands behind his back, swaying contentedly. Meanwhile, outside Easton. Damn careless. Not long ago, Leo, having sneaked out of Easton, stood frozen looking at the dense forest and intersecting mountain paths. Remembered to leave, forgot to get a map. Lost. In desperation, Leo pulled out his phone, opening a map app to see where he was. No signal. FCK. What kind of birds don't shit place is this? No signal. Exasperated, Leo turned around on the spot, planning to head back and get a map. However, just as he turned, a shout rang out. Freeze! Don't move. Hands on your head, squat down. Not far away, a man in armed military fatigues pointed a gun at Leo, looking alert. Who are you? And why are you here? The soldier aimed his rifle squarely at Leo Evans, barking the command again. Get down. Now. Leo slowly turned around, glanced at the man, and then obediently crouched with his hands behind his head. Don't shoot. I'm just lost. Leo's expression was calm. I have ID in my pocket. It proves who I am. Take it out. Toss it over, the soldier ordered sternly. And I'm warning you, don't try anything funny. If you didn't look like a local, I would have dropped you already. Leo raised an eyebrow, but didn't argue. He moved slowly, fishing out his ID and tossing it toward the man. The soldier caught it, glanced at the credentials, and lowered his voice. North Point Military District? Why are you out here? Classified mission. Can't discuss it, Leo said flatly. If you don't believe me, ask General White. General White? The soldier paused. This kid knew General White. The photo on the ID matched the face, and they were near Easton, so it wasn't impossible. As for being lost, that was probably just an excuse to avoid divulging mission details. Leo had said it was a classified mission, after all. Otherwise, the soldier refused to believe anyone could be idiot enough to get lost in a place like this. All right, get up. Having cleared the suspect's identity, the soldier's tone softened considerably. Sorry about that. The frontier has been crawling with suspicious characters lately, so we're on high alert. I'm Gavin. I'm a patrolman for this sector. The soldier introduced himself, picking up Leo's ID and handing it back. Leo took the ID. Patrol? Just you? Of course not. My squad covers this entire zone. We patrol in a dispersed formation. I see. Leo nodded, then asked, so, do you guys have a map of the frontier? Gavin blinked, looking at him with a weird expression. We do. Do you need one? Leo nodded furiously. That was exactly what he needed right now. But the map is back at base. I don't carry one on me. Gavin hesitated. Should he bring this guy back to base? His ID looked real enough, but what if he was a spy? Seeming to sense the man's hesitation, Leo spoke up. How about this? Do you have a satellite phone? Mine has no signal. You know Captain Invincible Zhao, right? Or Sergeant Mad Dog Wu? Or Major Griffin? You have to know at least one of them. Hearing those names, Gavin's heart skipped a beat. How could he not know them? Those were the legendary aces of the frontier. Especially Captain Invincible. He was Gavin's idol. Gavin had always dreamed of being like Captain Zhao, charging into enemy territory alone and returning home after a 1,000-mile escape. That legendary story was folklore out here. If Leo knew what Gavin was thinking, he would have scoffed. Legendary? If I hadn't saved his ass, your idol would be 6 feet under. Then he'd be a real legend. Lend me your sat phone. I'll call Captain Zhao. That should be enough to prove I'm legit, right? Gavin's eyes lit up. Really? You actually know Captain Zhao? Of course. I saved his life once. I'm practically his benefactor, Leo said, thumping his chest. Gavin was stunned. Holy crap, who is this guy? He saved Captain Zhao. After a brief hesitation, Gavin pulled out his satellite phone and handed it to Leo. Leo didn't stand on ceremony. He took the device and dialed Captain Zhao's number immediately. Under Gavin's nervous gaze, the call connected after 3 or 4 seconds. Hello? Who is this? It's me, Leo Evans. Who? Leo. Captain Zhao's voice spiked, then dropped to a hush. Bro, where the hell are you? High Commander Sky is going crazy looking for you. General White is about 5 seconds away from putting a bounty on your head. Leo curled his lip. That dramatic? I'm not even in Easton anymore. You're not in Easton? Then where are you? Back in North Point. I'm at the frontier. On the other end of the line, Captain Zhao fell into a deep silence. He felt that if High Commander William Sky found out about this, the man might actually spontaneously combust, and Instructor Slater would probably be flayed alive for letting it happen. After a long pause, Captain Zhao took a deep breath, steadied his mental state, and spoke calmly. Bro, Leo, my brother, control yourself. Don't do anything stupid, okay? Do it for me. Give me some face. Hearing this, Leo sounded displeased. Zhao, what's with the attitude? I'm your lifesaver, aren't I? Is this how you treat your benefactor? The moment he heard the word benefactor, Captain Zhao's face twisted in pain. So what do you want? Small favor. I ran into a patrolman out here. Vouch for me. Bro, it's not that I don't want to help, but if something happens later, I'd become your accomplice, Zhao said with a pained grimace, his tone begging. I'm pleading with you, turn back now. I really don't want to face a court-martial. Leo replied coolly. Zhao, are you trying to be ungrateful? Hearing that, Captain Zhao gritted his teeth, wanting to slap himself. Sure enough, debts of gratitude were the hardest to pay, especially Leo Evans' debts. Fine, I help you this once, and we're even. Zhao gritted out. You are never allowed to bring up saving my life again. Deal. No problem. Leo nodded nonchalantly. I'm handing the phone to him. You talk. Leo passed the phone to Gavin. Gavin took it with trembling hands. Hello? I'm Gavin. Hello, this is Captain Zhao. Zhao rattled off a string of classified verification codes and personal details to prove his identity, then added, the identity of the man in front of you is solid. You can trust him. Zhao hesitated, stopping himself from telling Gavin to arrest Leo. It was pointless. A patrolman couldn't catch Leo anyway. Besides, this headache belonged to High Commander Sky. Zhao was just a soldier. He didn't know anything. Gavin chatted with his idol for a few more sentences, mostly pledging to learn from him and become a warrior like him. Then he handed the phone back to Leo. Zhao spoke immediately. Leo, we are even now. Yeah, sure. And listen, you can't let anyone know I helped you with this, or William Sky will murder me. Click. Leo hung up before Zhao could finish. At that moment, Captain Zhao didn't realize the magnitude of the consequences his few words of verification would unleash upon the frontier. Later, whenever William Sky and General White saw Captain Zhao, they would have to restrain the urge to tear him apart with their bare hands. With Captain Zhao's confirmation, Gavin's doubts about Leo completely vanished. Leo, I had no idea you were that tight with Captain Zhao, Gavin said, looking at Leo with worshipful eyes. Your skills must be incredible too, right? Are you a special operative as well? Special? Nah, I'm not. Leo shook his head. Gavin looked slightly disappointed, but quickly recovered. It made sense. Every special operative was an ace in the hole, and there weren't many of them. The odds of randomly bumping into one were astronomical. This Leo guy, even if not special grade, probably wasn't weak. Leo, Gavin said as he drove, I can take you back to base to get the map, but I have to finish my patrol route first. Leo nodded. Works for me. I'm in no rush. I'll tag along. Since things had come to this, there was no point going back to Easton. Leo shoved his hands in his pockets, looking lazy as he followed Gavin on patrol. Along the way, they chatted, and Leo learned a few things. The so-called frontier had 2 lines of defense. The inner line was where Gavin's base was located. The outer line was much further out. Between these 2 checkpoints, it was relatively safe. But once you left the protection of the outer checkpoint, you were stepping into a war zone. Foreign combat squads and makeshift forward operating bases were scattered everywhere beyond that line. Incursions and counter-incursions played out constantly in the no man's land. Leo, is this your first time at the frontier? Yep, first time. And you're solo? No squad? Nope, just me. That's hardcore. Gavin praised without holding back. From what I know, only the ace operatives have the strength to roam the frontier alone. Usually, Anyone else wanting to leave the checkpoint range needs a vetted squad of at least 10 people. Is that so? Guess I'm pretty hardcore. Leo praised himself shamelessly. If a guy like Zhao could do it alone, why couldn't he? By the time evening rolled around, Gavin finished his patrol and met up with the rest of his squad. Gavin, who's this? This is Commander Evans. He's here on a classified mission. Gavin introduced Leo. In his eyes, someone who could talk down to Captain Zhao had to be at least commander rank. Little did he know, Leo was technically a fresh recruit who had just arrived in Easton, a bona fide grunt. After explaining the situation, the squad's eyes turned friendly. You need a map? No problem. Come on, let's head back to base. Yeah, Commander Evans, if you aren't busy, crash at our base tonight. Gavin is off rotation tomorrow. He can drive you to the outer checkpoint. The outer checkpoint is a long haul from here. Walking would take forever. Hearing this, Leo raised an eyebrow. If what they said was true, he might have to stay the night. He didn't have a car. Well, technically Leo knew how to drive a car. He just didn't know how to stop one without totaling it against a solid object. He went through cars quickly. All right then. Sorry to impose, Leo said politely. The soldiers laughed it off, happy to have a guest. For them, doing the same routine every day was dull. Having a new face to chat with was a treat. Night fell as they arrived at Gavin's base, the inner checkpoint 134. Old Zhang hit the searchlights. Little Sue, make up a bunk. Clear a spot for the commander. Gavin, do inventory. As soon as they returned, Captain Hightower began barking orders, running through the daily routine. Then he walked over to a locker, rummaged around, and pulled out a dusty scroll. Let's see. Here, it is. He blew off the dust. Here, Commander. The map you wanted. Captain Hightower laughed. We don't use this thing much. If you need it, just take it. We'll just log it. Leo took the map, scanned it carefully for a few seconds, then closed it and handed it back. No need. I memorized it. I memorized it? Captain Hightower's eyes went wide. Commander, you're joking, right? You looked at it for 2 seconds. Leo smiled. My memory is pretty good. I was the top-ranked scholar in my year, actually. Captain Hightower was skeptical, so he quizzed Leo on a few spots. To his shock, Leo answered perfectly, reciting coordinates down to the decimal. That's insane. People can actually have photographic memory? Hightower suspected Leo had memorized it beforehand. But when Leo recited the handwritten notes they had personally added to the map, Hightower was convinced. Commander, you've really opened my eyes, Hightower said with genuine admiration. Leo waved his hand humbly. Talent. Just pure talent. He wasn't lying. His photographic memory had nothing to do with the system. He really had that talent. Otherwise, how did they think he got those perfect placement scores before bonding with the system? Did they really think he was just a regular guy? Wake up, wage slaves. Average Joes don't get the girl or the glory. Be grateful if you have enough for a chicken sandwich combo at the end of the day. Commander, the bunk is ready. It's a bit rough, so you'll have to make do. It's fine. I'm not pampered. A floor works. Leo kicked off his shoes and climbed onto the bunk. Seeing how down-to-earth he was, the squad relaxed. They climbed into their own bunks and started swapping stories with Leo. Starved for conversation, they chattered nonstop. They took turns manning the searchlight, pulling an all-nighter. Leo fit right in, chatting about everything and nothing. Sometime later, a sharp alarm pierced the air. Beep, beep, beep. The chatter died instantly. Captain Hightower and Gavin sat bolt upright. That's the comms alarm. Notification from the other checkpoints. Intruders detected. Captain Hightower leaped from his bunk, grabbing the communicator off the desk. This is checkpoint 134. We have massive intruder activity. Requesting backup. Checkpoint 128 reports intruders. Requesting immediate backup. Checkpoint 156 also under attack. Checkpoint 89. As the voices flooded the channel, Gavin and the others turned pale. So many checkpoints breached at the exact same time? Captain, Gavin pointed into the distance, screaming, "We've got movement too." They looked where Gavin pointed. Under the beam of the searchlight, several fully armed figures were creeping toward their position. Before they could get a clear look, gunshots rang out. Bang, bang, bang. Bullets shattered the searchlight, plunging Gavin and the squad into darkness. Damn it, they came prepared. Defensive positions. Prepare to engage. Captain Hightower roared. They couldn't worry about the other checkpoints now. This was obviously a coordinated, large-scale invasion. Their only job was to hold the line. Do not advance. Focus on defense. Hold out until reinforcements from Easton arrive. Whoosh! Before Hightower could finish, a figure blurred past him, moving so fast the wind ruffled his hair. Nice knife. Borrowing it. The voice whispered in his ear. Hightower instinctively reached for his waist. His combat knife was gone. Come, Commander Evans. Hightower realized it was Leo. Don't be reckless. There's too many of them. You can't take them alone. Alone is plenty. Leo stood on the edge of the watchtower platform, cutting him off. He glanced back at them with a grin. Relax. They're just a bunch of useless hacks. With that, he vaulted off the tower into the darkness. Jumper. Fire. Open fire. Move up. The invaders shouted in a foreign language as they saw the figure drop. Gunfire concentrated on Leo's position. In their sights, Leo's body hit the ground below the wall. One of the invaders chuckled. Interesting guy. Suicide by jumping. That's how these Union soldiers are. Coward. Dennis, you studied their language. Of course. Know your enemy. Win every battle. The invader named Dennis spoke in broken, accented language, his eyes full of mockery. But the moment his voice fell, a chill ran down his spine. A military combat knife appeared at his throat. Foreigner. Leo's voice was like a demon from hell, cold and dark. Welcome to the frontier. Slash. The knife swept across his neck, a bloom of blood erupting in the dark. Dennis's eyes went wide, clutching his throat, unable to believe he had been killed so easily. He hadn't even seen the man's face. Dennis. Dennis. Report, Dennis. What's happening? Voices shouted in Dennis's earpiece. Leo plucked the bloody headset off the dying man, looking at it with distaste. He spoke softly into the mic. Gentlemen, I know we're in different time zones, but knocking on the door in the middle of the night is rude, don't you think? But since you're here, don't leave. The Union is very hospitable. Crunch. Leo crushed the earpiece and moved toward the next target. Damn it. Situation critical. Alert. Kill that demon. You shouldn't have a gun. I didn't hear a shot when Dennis went down. Shit. He's on me. Someone screamed as they saw Leo charging out of the shadows like a god of death. A flash of silver, and another throat was opened. Then a second. A third. They fell one by one, the comms filled with screams. How is he finding us? Even with night vision goggles, the darkness limited their field of view. But this demon seemed to have eyes everywhere. Their confidence in storming the checkpoint evaporated. The opponent was hacking. How were they supposed to play? Retreat. Fall back. When the leader realized he had lost contact with 80% of his team, he finally gave the order. He admitted defeat against this monster. They ran, but Leo didn't stop hunting. You came all this way. Why rush off? Leo chased them down like a slasher villain, utterly unhinged. Up on the tower, Gavin and the squad watched dumbfounded. Even without the searchlight, they could make out the shapes in the moonlight. Those elite, heavily armed invaders looked like helpless chicks in front of Leo. Is he really not a special operative? Gavin swallowed hard. Even Captain Zhao couldn't put up stats like this, right? Captain Hightower stood beside him, equally shaken. With skills like that, could the commander be one of them? The squad looked at Hightower in confusion. Gavin asked, but Leo explicitly told me he wasn't special grade. Hightower took a deep breath. You guys might not know this, but in our military, above special operative, there are two individuals. Those two rank above special grade in both combat power and overall capability. I heard it from an old-timer. They're called the ace operatives. Almost no one knows their true identities. Ace operatives? The squad gasped. Such existences were real. Could Commander Evans be one of the two? Hightower shook his head. Doesn't matter. We do our job. Don't speculate. If it weren't for the commander tonight, this checkpoint would have fallen. Hightower didn't finish the sentence, but everyone knew. Against those numbers and that firepower, they wouldn't have held. Easton. High Commander William Sky's office. High Commander. Reports from the frontier indicate at least half the checkpoints were hit by a surprise attack. Reinforcements were dispatched immediately, but some outposts might not hold. William Sky sat behind his desk, frowning deeply. Intelligence confirmed the invaders were mostly foreigners, highly trained. This was a premeditated, large-scale invasion. What annoyed Sky most was the mastermind. It wasn't the rival nations directly. They had no reason to launch an attack right now. And Sky didn't believe those nations could coordinate this quickly. That left only one organization capable of mobilizing soldiers from multiple countries simultaneously. The Vulture. Bastards. Are they trying to invite the whole world to our doorstep? Sky cursed internally. What the hell does that Vulture want with us? He took a deep breath and looked at the man in front of him. Colonel Walker, notify the squads at the frontier. If they're near a checkpoint, assist immediately. If they aren't near one, tell them to raid the enemy's checkpoints. Whichever countries border they're near, hit their outpost. Also, Activate the special operatives currently in the frontier. Tell them to make some noise. Finally, send a notice to the international coalition. Sky's eyes narrowed dangerously. Tell them to give us an explanation for this operation. Colonel Walker hesitated. But, High Commander, I don't think they necessarily ordered this. Crap, you think I don't know who did it? Sky glared at him. Even if they didn't do it, we're acting like they did. Collect every corpse. Pack them up and ship them back to their respective countries. Put the word out. Anyone who doesn't give us an answer gets hit back hard. If you mess with us, we go all out. That's our temper. You touch me, I end you. Even if someone else benefits from the chaos, I don't care. Who wants to try me? Colonel Walker's mouth twitched. Since Sky took over, their diplomatic strategy had become increasingly thuggish. But in the current international climate, this mad dog strategy worked. The tough feared the crazy. And Sky was crazy. You provoke me? Fine, mutual destruction. So now, most nations tried to avoid provoking Sky unless they had a unified front. After Walker left, Sky's door knocked again. Enter. Sky looked up. What do you want? Your methods are too aggressive, the man said slowly. Huh, you teaching me my job? Sky looked at the man unkindly. General Sheldon, the General White's peer, not mine. White is old, so I cut him some slack. But you? I won't baby you. Sheldon took a deep breath, sat on the sofa, and stared intensely at Sky. You still suspect me? Yes, Sky said without hesitation. Not just you. In all of Easton, I trust fewer than 5 people. Sheldon's gaze darkened. You really think I'm the vulture? Aren't you? I am not. Prove it. Then how do you prove I am? I don't need to prove it. Sky leaned forward. My rank is higher than yours. You need to prove it to me. I don't need to prove anything to you. Get it? Sheldon stared at him in silence. The atmosphere thickened. Finally, Sheldon spoke again. Then can I suspect you are the vulture? Sure, but I'll say it again. Sky smirked. Bring evidence. Sheldon clenched his fists and stood up abruptly. He glared at Sky. I truly don't know if having you as High Commander is our nation's fortune or misfortune. With that, he turned and stormed out. Sky huffed and flipped a middle finger at Sheldon's retreating back. Originally, Sheldon was supposed to take the High Commander role, but Sky had come out of nowhere to seize it. Sheldon held a grudge, but mostly he just disagreed with Sky's reckless methods. Meanwhile, at the checkpoint, Leo was on a rampage. Anyone he chased down died screaming the same thing. Demon. He's a demon. When Leo cornered the final man, the invader collapsed in terror, unable to hold his weapon. Under the moonlight, Leo wore the blood-splattered mask of Vulture 7, looking like a nightmare incarnate. That mask! The man stared at Leo's face and shouted, Friendly. We're friendlies. He frantically tore open his shirt, revealing a tattoo of the Vulture organization on his chest. Leo looked at the tattoo without a flicker of emotion. He had guessed this was the Vulture's doing. He wore the masks specifically to see their reaction. As expected, even foreign mercenaries recognized the mask. Mistake. It's a mistake, the man cried when Leo didn't move. We were ordered to come. We're on the same side. What kind of gibberish are you speaking? Leo said flatly. Who's on your side? He slowly raised the curved knife. Slash, the blade cut through. The man's expression froze in confusion. Why kill me? Aren't you one of us? He fell backward, blood watering the grass at Leo's feet. Leo slowly removed the mask, frowning. Looks like I'm not getting any sleep tonight. Might as well just kill my way out. Meanwhile, at the international borders. Damn it, it's the Union soldiers. What's wrong with them? Why are they attacking us now? Stop them. Hurry. Faced with the sudden counterstrike, the neighboring nations were confused. What happened? Why are you hitting me? Leaders from various countries immediately contacted William Sky. High Commander Sky, what is the meaning of this? Are you declaring war on all of us? You owe us an explanation. Faced with the barrage of questions, Sky took a deep breath, then feigned rage. What do I mean? I want to ask what you mean. Watch this before you speak. He sent them the video footage of the invasion at the frontier. The foreign leaders frowned as they watched. Sky sneered. I hadn't even come for you yet, and you're accusing me? Based on our intel, the invaders attacking us are citizens of your countries. What are you saying? You're all united now, working together to take us down? Faced with Sky's aggression, the tone of the leaders shifted. High Commander, calm down first. Calm down my ass. Sky roared. One word. Fight or don't fight. If we fight, we start tonight. Let's burn it all down. The leaders got a headache. Va? Now. Impossible. They just wanted to complain. How did it escalate to Armageddon? Then, Carlyle, the representative from the Western Coalition, spoke up. Something isn't right. I think identifying these invaders is the priority. Identify them. Sky scoffed. Half of them are your people, Carlisle. Even if you want to deny involvement, find a better excuse. Carlisle huffed. I told you, this has nothing to do with us. Then the people attacking your border right now have nothing to do with me either. Sky spread his hands. You want to play dumb? I can play dumber. Just as everyone thought Carlisle would fight Sky to the bitter end, something shocking happened. Carlisle took a deep breath and said slowly, I understand. I will give you an explanation for this. Carlisle, back down? Although phrased politely, this was a submissive stance the others had never seen from him. Even Sky was surprised. He knew Carlisle well. The old man was stubborn. This was suspicious. Very suspicious. Did the old bastard actually do it? Sky muttered to himself. Did I misjudge the vulture? Was it really a coalition plot? Or did the old man take the wrong meds today? Regardless, with the Western rep bowing out, the other nations stopped arguing and promised to investigate. After the call, Colonel Walker entered Sky's office. Hi, Commander. Based on current reports, several checkpoints couldn't hold and were breached. Sky nodded. He expected that. You couldn't stop a wave like that completely. Also, there's one more report. What? Walker looked unnatural. Intel says one checkpoint wiped out all invaders. Oh, Sky raised an eyebrow. Good news. Why the long face? According to that checkpoint, one person did it. He soloed the entire enemy force. One person? One of our special operatives? That makes sense. Walker sighed, looking at Sky's calm demeanor. The person who acted was Leo Evans. Now, what? Sky's face froze. His eyes bulged, and he shrieked. Why the hell is he there? Didn't he just arrive in Easton yesterday? How is he at a frontier checkpoint? Walker wiped spittle off his face, looking exasperated. You're asking me? You're the boss of Easton. If you don't know, how the hell should I know? Sky forced himself to calm down. Notify that checkpoint immediately. Keep Leo there. Send him back to Easton. It might be too late, Walker said sympathetically. By the time we got the report, Leo had already left the checkpoint. Where did he go? He seems to be roaming the frontier alone. Hearing this, Sky looked like he was in physical pain. What is he trying to do? Walker glanced at him. You brought him here. You figure it out. Woohoo! In the dark night, an off-road vehicle sped along the dirt road. Gavin was driving, while Leo enjoyed the wind rushing past his ears, looking like a lonely warrior. Leaving home, venturing deep into the frontier alone, defending the country, making a name for himself. This was the script a protagonist should have. Leo pulled out the satellite phone he'd acquired and snapped a photo of the endless wilderness. Then he took a selfie and posted them to his social feed. Caption, Frontier Scenic Tour. Checked in. The post immediately attracted attention. Ava Reed. Ava Reed, say that again. Where are you? Carol Evans. My son is so handsome. Julian Reed liked this. Marco liked this. Before Leo could finish reading the comments, Ava called. Crap. Got carried away. Forgot about the wife. I'm dead meat. Leo realized his mistake. After hesitating for a few seconds, he answered. Before Ava could speak, Leo wailed, Ava, honey, you won't believe it. That old man General White shipped me off to the frontier without a word. I said I wanted to say goodbye to you, and he wouldn't let me. He promised me all sorts of things. I got tricked by that old geezer. Boo-hoo. Ava, you don't blame me, right? Meanwhile, back in Easton, General White was sneezing violently in his home. Hearing Leo's grievance-filled voice, Ava Reed scoffed on the other end of the line. Heh, playing the victim, are we? Do you think I'm an idiot? Leo, I'm very disappointed in you. Leo's heart tightened. Don't be like that, Ava. I really messed up. How about I bring you some frontier souvenirs? Enough, Leo. The damage is done. Ava, don't be mad. I swear this is the last time. From now on, I'll listen to whatever you say. Good. You said it. Ava's tone shifted instantly to a playful giggle. I recorded that. You said it. From now on, you listen to me for everything. Leo's pupils dilated. Disaster. Tricked. Forgot this girl wasn't exactly innocent. Leo laughed dryly. Ava, honey, I'm using a military satellite phone. Unauthorized recording is a violation of protocol. Is it? Ava sounded innocent. But I didn't know that. I'm using a civilian phone. If there's a violation, they'll investigate you, right? Ava, you weren't like this before. Leo sighed. You used to be lenient with me. You've changed. HM, am I not lenient? Ava's voice was crisp. You're hallucinating. I'm the most lenient person in the world. All right, my brother wants me to go shopping with him. Have fun playing in the frontier. With that, Ava hung up. Leo stared at the phone helplessly, his brow furrowed with worry. Better not go back anytime soon. She was definitely pissed. I know. Leo hatched a plan. When I go back to Easton, I'll cover myself in injuries. Like Captain Zhao, half dead. Then when Ava sees me, she won't be mad. She'll just be heartbroken. Tisk, I'm a genius. Gavin glanced at the foolish grin on Leo's face and muttered to himself. Commander Evans sometimes feels a bit simple, not like a normal person. Commander, 10 more minutes to the outer checkpoint. Beyond that, it's not our territory anymore. I can only take you that far. Be careful out there. Leo nodded. Thanks. You helped me out big time. It was true. If he hadn't met Gavin, Leo would probably still be lost. You're too polite, Commander. You saved us, Gavin said gratefully. If not for you, we would have been doomed tonight. His expression suddenly fell. If I had half your skill, my grandfather wouldn't have. His voice trailed off into silence. Leo could see the regret in Gavin's eyes. Silence filled the car. Soon, the vehicle slowed to a halt. Not far ahead lay the outer checkpoint. Commander, this is it. Take care. Leo nodded and opened the door, but he didn't get out immediately. Under Gavin's confused gaze, Leo patted him on the shoulder and spoke slowly. I met Colonel Grant. He's a good elder and a responsible officer. I can't judge the rights and wrongs for those who got caught in the crossfire of what he did. But the people who benefited from his actions, they have no standing to criticize his desperation back then. Gavin looked at him with shock, his lips trembling. Commander, you know my grandfather? Of course. I came from North Point Military District, Leo smiled. When he learned Gavin's name, Leo knew he was Colonel Grant's grandson. Back in North Point, General George Evans had told Leo to look out for Gavin if he ever went to the frontier. Live well, or my old man will blame me for not taking care of his friend's descendant. Leo waved with a smile, got out of the car, and slammed the door shut. Gavin watched as Leo walked step by step toward the checkpoint. A searchlight hit him. Someone shouted, Identify yourself. Show your ID. Whoosh! Leo flicked his wrist, tossing his ID to the guard. The guard on the wall looked at the credentials, his pupils shrinking. Captain, it's the guy General White mentioned. He hurriedly handed the ID to his captain. The captain took it and looked down at Leo. You sure you want to go out there? Leo didn't stop walking. Of course. That's why I'm here. Do you know what it means to cross this checkpoint alone? It means I have to face every nation's elite squads by myself. I know. Leo smiled. You should be worried about them. The captain stared at Leo. After a long moment, he tossed the ID back. High Commander Sky ordered that if you came to the outer checkpoint, we were not to stop you. Open the gate, the captain shouted. Leo waved. Thanks. You're welcome. The captain added, the High Commander also asked me to ask you one thing. He wants to know, going out there, what do you hope to achieve? Leo paused. After a moment of thought, he answered, Tell the old man I only have one goal, and that is to become a legend. Easton, on a quiet street. Ava Reed and Julian Reed were strolling. A small white cat trailed behind them. Julian, where are we going? Buying stuff for Mom, Julian said, sounding resigned. She heard we were in Easton and got excited. Said there's an aromatherapy shop here owned by a friend of hers. Wants us to say hi and buy some scents to ship back. Mom has friends here. Ava was surprised. Just then, Julian's phone rang. It was Anthony Reed. Julian frowned but answered. Hello, son. Heard from your mom you're in Easton? Pick me up 2 cartons of cigarettes. The local Easton brand. I've been looking for them everywhere. Click. Julian hung up before Anthony could finish. Ava blinked. Who was that? No one. Spam call, Julian said calmly. The battle at the frontier seemed to have little impact on the people of Easton. Only a few noticed the trucks full of soldiers departing one after another toward the city limits. Most people lived their lives as usual. The pot roast noodle shop still steamed with savory scents. The vendors on the food street shouted their wares. Julian led Ava through the streets until they reached the aromatherapy shop Julia had mentioned. Hello, looking for scents? The shop assistant greeted them warmly as they entered. Her heart skipped a beat when she saw them. Most men in Easton were rough around the edges, but this pair was visually stunning. She pegged them as out-of-towners immediately. Hello, Julian said politely. I'm looking for the owner, Diane. Diane. The assistant paused. She's resting upstairs. Please wait a moment. Normally, she would turn people away at this hour unless Diane had left instructions. But these two didn't look like trouble. And honestly, the man was incredibly handsome. While the assistant went upstairs, Ava wandered around the shop. I heard this is the only scent shop in Easton, so most of the local girls come here, Julian smiled. Pick whatever you like. I'll buy it. Ava thought about it. Their house did need some fragrance. Since Leo and Julian were never home, the place smelled entirely of Reggie the cat. Soon, footsteps sounded on the stairs. A graceful, elegant woman followed the assistant down. It was the owner, Diane. Diane looked at Julian immediately. You are. Aunt Diane, hello. I'm Julian Reed. Julian smiled. My mother asked me to come say hello. Julian Reed. Diane murmured the name. Then her face lit up. I remember. You're Julia's son. She turned to Ava. And you must be Ava. I held you when you were a baby. Look at you, so beautiful now. Ava blushed slightly. Hello, Aunt Diane. As for being held as a baby, she didn't remember. Every elder said that. You were a baby, of course you don't remember. What did you two end up here? Come upstairs. Diane was thrilled, dragging them upstairs and telling the assistant to watch the store. Upstairs, Diane poured tea and excitedly caught up on family gossip. Actually, Julia lent me the money to open this shop, Diane reminisced. She asked me to go back to Ethelberg a few times, but it's too far, and I didn't want to leave Easton. It's been years since we talked. She looked at them fondly. In the blink of an eye, you're all grown up. It's wonderful. But why come to Easton? I have some business here, Julian said. Ava tagged along with her husband. Husband? Diane froze, then looked at Ava in shock. Ava, you married? Ava nodded, blushing. Diane's gossip radar went into overdrive. Do you have photos? What's his family like? Is he from Easton? A soldier? What does Julia think of him? The barrage of questions left Ava dazed. She looked at Julian for help. Julian just smiled and sipped his tea, ignoring her plea. Unexpectedly, Diane turned to Julian. Your sister is married. Don't tell me you're still single. Puff, cough, cough. Julian choked on his tea. Aunt Diane. Cough. I'm not in a rush. Julian wiped his mouth. Nonsense. You should be looking. Actually, I know a girl. She works at the hospital here. About your age. I should set you up. Julian opened his mouth to refuse, but Ava beat him to it. Aunt Diane, you are so right. I've told him 1,000,000 times, but he won't listen. Seeing him so lonely, I worry about him. If you recommend her, I trust you. Julian should definitely try it. Ava blinked her big eyes, looking like a concerned sister. Internally, she grinned evilly. Ignore my call for help? Take that. Julian felt a bitter taste in his mouth. This girl really held a grudge. Diane slapped the table. It's settled. I'll set up a time. Wait, Aunt Diane, Thank you, Aunt Diane. I accept on his behalf. Ava chirped. Just tell me when. I promise to drag him there. Julian looked at Ava helplessly. Her little devil attributes were showing again. With a blind date set in stone, Julian could only resign himself to his fate. Ava seemed determined to find him something to do. They chatted with Diane a while longer before preparing to leave. It was getting late. Diane walked them down. All right, come visit often. Send me Julia's address. I'll ship the cents. Oh, and Ava, pick whatever you want. My treat. Really? Thanks, Aunt Diane. Ava beamed. Diane smiled and led them downstairs. Meanwhile, on the street, several bandaged men were stumbling along. Damn, it hurts. Just my luck today. Tanner King had his arm in a sling, his face bruised. His buddies were in similar shape. After leaving the hospital, Tanner and his crew had gone for roadside barbecue and drinks. They reeked of alcohol. Seriously, Tanner, nothing went right today. Did we forget to check the horoscope? Shut up with the superstition. You know the saying? When things reach an extreme, they reverse. Exactly. Survivors of a great disaster are bound for good fortune. I believe our luck is about to turn. TSK, like that's not superstition. Suddenly, one of the fat goons stopped, staring blankly ahead. What are you doing? Possessed? No. Look, the fat man pointed with a trembling finger. Look, our good fortune is here. They looked, eyes widened. Holy crap, what a beauty. Tanner's eyes nearly popped out. He stared into the aromatherapy shop where Ava was browsing. Tanner, she's way hotter than that, doctor. I've lived in Easton all my life and never seen a girl like that. Boys, do you believe in love at first sight? Back off, she's mine. This is destiny. Screw you. Look in a mirror. Tanner? Hey, Tanner. Tanner was already walking into the shop, beelining for Ava. Damn, he moves fast. Morning he swears he only loves the doctor. Now, this? Fickle. Bet on whether he scores. I think his chances are good. She looks innocent. Tanner's smooth talk might work. So extreme bad luck does lead to romance. Tanner certainly thought so. This girl was God's compensation for his broken arm. His heart pounded. Top tier. Absolute top tier. Despite his excitement, Tanner put on his gentleman mask. Hello, beautiful lady. Tanner smiled. You look troubled. Encountered a difficulty? Ava turned, frowning. Who is this moron? Tanner, however, felt butterflies. He continued his act. I know a bit about aromatherapy. It's embarrassing for a man, I know, but my mother loves these things, so I studied them for her. I just broke my arm on the battlefield. I didn't want my mother to worry, so I'm buy her some scents to ease her mind. Tanner was a pro. In 3 sentences, he painted himself as a filial, brave, sensitive warrior. Unfortunately, he met Ava, And Julian was there, trying to pick up Ava in front of Julian. Tanner was one of a kind. Sure enough, Julian appeared behind Tanner and tapped his shoulder. "Friend, you need something for my sister?" Julian gave a fake smile. "If it's nothing important, kindly screw off." Tanner frowned, annoyed. Brother or not, that's rude. He turned to confront Julian, ready to scold him. He froze. Julian was holding a pistol, the muzzle pointed directly at Tanner. What are you doing?" Tanner's eyes bulged. "This is Easton. You can't just." Julian ignored him and looked at Diane. "And Diane, could you turn off the security cameras?" Diane smiled. Already off. She wasn't surprised. Julian was Julia's son, a former crime family boss. Did they think he got soft just because he played politics for a while? Tanner panicked. Something is wrong. Very wrong. "Wait. Don't shoot. Whip." Julian pulled the trigger. It wasn't a bullet, but a tranquilizer dart. Tanner stared at the needle in his chest. His vision blurred, and he hit the floor with a thud. The goons outside saw this and rushed in to attack Julian. But they were injured and drunk. Julian dropped them effortlessly, putting a dart in each one. Soon, they lay in a heap on the floor. "Sorry, Aunt Diane. I'll pay for any damage," Julian said calmly. "Pay what?" "They should pay." Diane pointed at Tanner. They reeked of alcohol, and the cameras were off. When the inspectors came, the story would be simple. Drunken harassment. "Bro, you're getting rusty," Avis said, stepping out from behind him. "Skipping your workouts?" Julian rolled his eyes. "You think everyone is a freak of nature like your husband?" The commotion drew the inspection unit quickly. Julian gave his statement calmly. "These men were drunk, broke into the shop, and harassed my sister. I was about to teach them a lesson, but they just collapsed on their own. I assume their old injuries flared up from the alcohol and the excitement." Diane and the assistant corroborated the story as witnesses. And the victim, Ava, hid behind Julian, looking terrified and trembling. The inspectors saw the drunken state of Tanner's group and bought the story completely. "Apologies. Our negligence allowed this to happen," the lead officer said apologetically. "We will punish them severely." Officers dragged the unconscious men away. The moment they left, Ava dropped the fear act instantly and ran to Diane. "Aunt Diane, I picked this candle set." Diane laughed. "Good choice. I'll have it wrapped." "Thanks. Mom was right. You're the best of all her friends." Diane beamed. With a face like that and a sweet mouth, who wouldn't love Ava? TSK, such a beautiful girl. I wonder which brat got lucky enough to marry you. Diane patted Ava's head. "I need to meet him. If he doesn't treat you right, I won't be polite. If Leo were here, he'd be crying for justice." "Aunt Diane, don't fall for it. She looks innocent, but she's a little devil." Sadly, Leo wasn't there. So Ava gained yet another ally to tattle to. Achoo! 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 At the frontier, Leo sneezed violently. "Weird. I haven't done anything bad recently. Who's talking about me?" Leo muttered, looking ahead. According to the memorized map, if he followed this road, he'd reach the border of the island nation. Leo swore he wasn't targeting them specifically. They were just close. He would uphold the principle of equality and harass everyone eventually. Leo looked at the dark sky and pulled out the Vulture 7 mask. A moonless night, perfect for arson and murder. He was here to climb the leaderboard, the Hero Index. Day or night didn't matter. Like gamers grinding rank at 3 a.m. Whoosh. A faint sound cut the air. "Who's there?" Leo turned his head slightly. A throwing knife flew past him. "Throwing knife? Ethan?" Leo paused. No, Ethan Sia's knife skills weren't this high level. Leo sidestepped. A black shadow lunged at him. Bang, bang, bang. Leo engaged the shadow in hand-to-hand combat. In exchange, Leo spotted the emblem on the combat uniform. Union soldier? Leo was surprised. The first people he met were his own, but clearly, they didn't see him as a friend. Not surprising. He wasn't speaking the language, wasn't wearing a uniform, and had a creepy mask on. Even a dog would find him suspicious. The shadow retreated. A gunshot rang out. Bang! A sniper round tore toward Leo. It was a sniper. It was a squad. Leo dodged narrowly, then got a clear look at the shadow's face through the face paint. Major Griffin. What a coincidence. An old acquaintance. Leo made a decision. He was curious how strong Griffin's squad was. It would be good practice for the battles ahead. And back in North Point, they had only sparred. This was a chance for a real fight. Leo didn't identify himself. He charged at Griffin. Griffin was shocked. The masked man had dodged a sniper shot. Alert. Enemy is strong. Suspected special operative level. Griffin radioed his team, re-engaging Leo. Griffin was much sharper here than in the friendly matches at North Point. This was life or death. However, against Leo, Griffin was still lacking. The moment Leo knocked Griffin back, he drew his pistol, aimed into the darkness, and fired. Bang. No, that direction is. Griffin was horrified. Leo had fired at their sniper's position. In the dark with one shot? Impossible. But Leo had used a pistol. At that range, hitting a sniper was technically impossible. Arg. Captain, I'm okay, but he wrecked my rifle scope. What? Griffin's heart sank. Under the moonlight, the fox mask stared at him calmly, mocking their weakness. Griffin's face was grim. All units, prepare to die, fighting. We met a real monster tonight. Griffin could have chosen to retreat, but he didn't. This masked man was near the Union border. If he had hostile intent toward the country, Griffin couldn't back down. After Griffin spoke, Leo felt movement around him. Ambush set up already? Leo observed. 1, 2. Counting the sniper and Griffin, there are 6 people in this squad. Whoosh. A shadow appeared behind Leo, firing instantly. Bang. Bang. Leo moved before the trigger was pulled, dodging the shots. But immediately, the sound of breaking air returned. Griffins throwing knives. In the dark, knives were deadlier than bullets. If Leo didn't have enhanced hearing, he'd be in trouble. Fisk, knife users are dirty. Griffin looks honest, but he plays dirty too. Leo critiqued internally. He thought Ethan Sia was sneaky, but Griffin was worse. The rest of the squad rushed out, coordinating their attacks perfectly. Leo was forced to dodge and weave, using cover. Not bad. Leo admitted he had underestimated them. Their teamwork was impeccable. With the sniper, they would have been a serious threat. Too bad he neutralized the rifle. Without the sniper, the formation had gaps. One soldier's magazine clicked empty. As he moved to cover to reload, Leo seized the moment. Bang! He shot the weapon out of the soldier's hand. Since they were friendlies, Leo chose a conservative strategy. Disarm, don't kill. Leo fired rapidly, bullets striking the guns of the other squad members with terrifying precision. Whoosh! A knife sliced through Leo's hair. A fraction of a second slower, and he would have been hit. It was Griffin's gamble. A desperate throw. If it hit, they lived. If it missed, Leo dodged. He raised his gun at Griffin. Bang! To Griffin's shock, the bullet didn't hit him. It whizzed past his ear, cutting a few strands of hair. He froze, swallowing hard. He had stared death in the face. Why didn't he shoot to kill? Leo let out a long breath. Okay, stopping now. Almost wrecked myself. Never holding back again. He wasn't joking. Try not to kill them made it infinitely harder. Griffin's last knife had almost ended him. Union soldier? Griffin asked, the voice sounding familiar. Leo slowly removed the mask, grinning at Griffin. Long time no see, Griffin. You are. Leo. Griffin's eyes bugged out. He collapsed to the ground, exhaling deeply. Holy shit. Leo, you aren't human. I seriously thought I was dead. Why the hell are you wearing a mask in the middle of nowhere? You nearly gave me a heart attack. Griffin cursed Leo out, venting his terror. Stop fighting. It's a friendly. Griffin yelled into the radio. Bill, get your ass over here. Bill, get your ass over here. Bill was the sniper. He had started to retreat when the fight turned desperate, intending to survive to report the intel. What? Friendly. Bill's voice crackled over the comms, furious. Damn it, Griffin. I was already composing your eulogies. I was crying, and you tell me it's a friendly? Who is the son of a bitch? I'm gonna skin him. Leo chuckled. Tell him to come here. I'll fix his rifle. Griffin sighed. You hear that, Bill? He's offering to fix your gun. Hustle. For real? Shit. You guys play me like a fiddle. Bill grumbled, but everyone laughed. The tension of death evaporated, replaced by the relief of survival. Here, let me introduce you. Griffin pointed at Leo as his team gathered. Leo Evans. Met him at North Point. I didn't know he was this much a freak back then. He shook his head at Leo. Damn, you wiped my whole squad solo. You really are a monster. Back at North Point, you were just playing with me, weren't you? Griffin had thought Leo was strong, but not this strong. Tonight, he was convinced. It was a complete schooling. Leo scratched his head, smiling innocently. Sorry, guys. Just wanted to test your skills. The soldiers shook their heads. It was a valuable experience. Griffin knew that after surviving a fight like this, his squad's cohesion would level up significantly.